along with Jarman, Biglands and co. Yeah, as I said, a full house just about, looking around 40,000 fans, and they're in anticipation of what should be a classic match. It's one of those games where it doesn't really matter where you are on the ladder. There is a tradition building between these two sides, and I think we're going to see an absolutely fierce contest. Nice to welcome Gerard Healy to the microphone. You'll be looking forward to it too, G.
No doubt, Sandy. It's a great match, and I think it's difficult to split them. The Crows with a win perhaps go in favourites.
Let's go down to the boundary line. Two other gentlemen looking forward to the clash. Bruce Abernathy and Neil Curley. Welcome, guys.
Thanks very much, Sandy. I love Showdown because I get to sit with Neil Curley. We argue most of the game. Both teams are fired up. There's 2 seasons on the line in this game, and if Mark Green's pre-match speech had anything to do, the players will be pumped up.
Yeah, well, all AFL games today are torrid affairs in the first quarter, but I think this one's just going to have a little bit more. Just look for a few sparks out there early.
There'll be plenty. Won't you love it, Curls? Thank you, gentlemen. We're just about set to go, but would also like to welcome Graham Corns to the microphone. Welcome, Cornsy.
Thank you, Sandy. A big day today, and the crowd evenly splits. A lot of Crow supporters have been able to get tickets for this. They'll be in good voice.
Port Adelaide winning the toss, kicking to the left. And look at the flags. The breeze may be going the other way. Bigland's trying to give them a start. Not successful. Byrne celebrating his birthday. Sees it socket away from his hands. Wide to the outer side, and the race is on. Towards the line they go. Wren lopes after it. Mead is there. Franco also. Josh backpedals a little. Gives away a little ground and finds Peter Burgoyne.
And up forward for the Crows, Ken McGregor starting in the square, getting picked up by Matthew Bishop, and Welsh is beside them. He's got Stephen Paxman.
Port Adelaide's defence Port Adelaide's attack, Gerard, very tall.
Port very disappointing and woeful last week. They'll be keen to make amends and make them very early on. Costa fumbled it, lost it. James couldn't take it. Poked out the back door. An opportunity now for the Crows to take it. McLeod tucks it under his arm and he's away. Gives the hand pass out to the Roo. He looks up towards the half-forward line. Up inside 50. Chance for a mark. Not taken by Wren. Tried to get the hand pass out. Went straight towards Matthew Bishop. The ex-Demon does well as he guides his way through some heavy traffic. Kicks towards centre wing. And McLeod also outpointed on this occasion. Good mark taken by James. Pops it over the top. Kingsley can go for goal. He's inside 50. Looking for the first score of the day. Is it going to be Shepard through? It is to the power.
Well, look for the mark from Roger James in front of Andrew McLeod. Held his position, kept the ball in front of his eyes. And Adam Kingsley ran strongly from the centre into space. Crossed 50 and knew from there he could kick the goals. And some very good work from Barnaby French. Held out his opponent. Just able to show, I think it's Nathan Bassett. Held Nathan Bassett. Just watch this. Held him out and bounces through. It's a great start for Port Adelaide.
Darren Jarman's been escorted around the ground by Michael Wilson, and as expected, Mead is on Sean Wren.
Kingsley getting just his second goal for the season. Out of the middle, so important. Bickley gets a hurried high one up towards Tyson Edwards. It's slapped clear of him. Taken to ground. Out comes Costa. Play on is the call. The advantage was paid, and it is an advantage. Rashido can answer. He kicks from 51 metres. Set sail behind, and there's the answer. In seconds flat.
Earthquakes to hurricanes, nature has a mighty arsenal.
I just held on to dear life.
Extreme disasters, Monday, 7:30.
She's been asked out.
Well, I'll go.
Elaine. By a real spunk bubble. Except... Ali, Monday on 7.
Let's see what Biglands can do in the ruck again. He's made a fairly positive start, getting his hand on the ball up against Primus, but this time it's a bounce that favours the latter. Stevens tries to get it clear. Chopped off by Tyson Edwards. Out to Rashudo. Use it very quickly towards Costa. Bends it round the body. Mark should have been taken, but it wasn't by Burgoyne. The door opens for Wren. He's gang tackled by a couple. Loses it. Jarman goes to round. No free kick for a push. And eventually the umpire comes in to take charge.
Well, that's good fierce stuff. Peter Burgoyne had the ball, fumbled it first time, fumbled it the second time. Sean Red pounced on it, but the Port Adelaide players closed him down immediately. That's an indication of the desperation of both sides.
And Nigel Smart is who is picking up Chad Corns, has got run from the back pocket, pushing into the forward pocket, and dragging young Corns with him.
Primus gets another favourable bounce. Pokes out the hand pass. Comes wide and out of Franco. He's on half back. Bickley tried to spoil him. Not before he got it to Burgoyne. Kicks up towards centre wing. Stevens chops his way through a couple. Well played. Jarman gave him a late one, unnecessary, and they'll get the advantage down on centre wing.
Disappointing for Gary Ayres then that young Nick Stevens could break through 2 tackles.
Kick by Chad Corns, goes down towards the 50-metre line. Robin sees it slip clear. Rashudo through to Nigel Smart. The foot goes on the accelerator, and away he goes to Welsh, who marks 60 metres out. Too far to score, but he's got the danger men downfield. Wren, McGregor, Jarman, Primus dropping in the hole. Jarman used him as a step ladder. Wasn't successful. Bishop towards the line.
It was a smart kick there by Matthew Bishop because he looked up and there were only Crows players. And Darren Jarman would be a little bit annoyed that that kick didn't quite traverse the distance because he had to sit on the big Port Power ruckman.
Primus and Wren again. Primus winning it. Franco gives it back to the big man. In turn to goal kicker Kingsley. He eludes birthday boy Byrne, and he bounces his way through the centre. Then he chips up towards half forward. Wasn't a good kick for Treadray, but he did well to recover it on the half volley. Gets it out quickly now towards Braden Lyle. He looks down towards the forward line. Smart tries to chop it off, then almost steals it with his legs. Corns is in there as well, but he can't get it. There will be a bounce deep in Port's attacking zone.
It's a good positive start to both sides. They're both running strongly, using the ball long. No evidence of the short indirect style of Port Adelaide, which has caused so much trouble for them in the last couple of weeks.
Robin's gone into the ruck, and it does leave Warren Treadray all by himself. There's a turnover. Treadray, you would think, would come up as the target.
Jared, this is a much different Port Adelaide team than we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Early days yet curls, but certainly the signs are good.
French up against Robin. G. Rashudo's getting some early ball and getting a fair whack, but that was not a good kick, and he may have to pay. No, he may get out of it. Costa will go to the line. Franco, can he keep it in? He can. He copped one.
Take it high.
And he'll take the free kick. Josh Franco.
Good desperate start for Port Adelaide, but can they sustain it?
Played well last week. Kicks in towards the pocket, taken over by Harwood, and then we've got another throw.
Jared, just on Port Adelaide, they've had a big week on the track.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 7 a.m, and the most competitive session in about 4 years. There was actually a couple of injuries to players, including Jared Schofield, so they'll fair income during the week on the track.
And I think, Cornsey, it's one of those aspects of football these days that's very much gone out of it, and that's competitive work during the week.
Robin wins it down in front, taken by James, bends it round the body for another one to the power. Roger!
Weekend action.
Second goal for the season. The power leads. Bigland's up high. Edwards and Costa almost collide with one another. Franco provides the tackle, and it was good. He's got the free kick in the middle. An exciting start by Port as he heads towards Treadray territory on half forward. No one able to take the mark. Here's McLeod. Around he goes. Then he goes somewhat dangerously across the ground. They should get out of it. They've got the numbers. The Stengline hand pass goes to Hart. Hart looks down towards Rashudo, but Kingsley's in front of him, and he's more than happy with a toe poke to the line.
Well, we said in the preview, Sandy, that if Port Adelaide were to win this match or cause some problems, that their midfield and runners were all going to have to play well, and they've got off to the right start.
French, Robin, Tyson, Edwards eventually goes it alone, poking it down towards Tyson's sting line. Again, it beats him over the line. Three all in the showdowns. Port winning the first one, and they were just babes in the AFL. Adelaide, on the other hand, was some 7 years of age.
Interesting, the ruckmen here are playing apart, away from the ball. Now Rhett Bigland's running forward into the forward lines, the half forward. Matty Primus not actually going with him.
I think Bigland's is just trying to drag Primus out of the centre half forward area.
Rashudo pumped up today. Gets it out wide towards Edwards and Byrne. The latter clear up towards the 50. Paxman in trouble. Did pop it out, but dangerously so. Straight to Jarman. He's tackled. He gets the kick. It floats across the goal because of that tackle. It's going to be kept in play. Paxman again pounces on it. It comes out towards the line. Welsh is taken over with the ball, and we've got a throw in the right forward pocket for the Crows.
Now have a look at the attack on the ball by Bishop. Darren Jarman streaming towards goal. Matthew Bishop desperate. Fast for a big man. Gets hands and drags him down.
From the throw-in, Paulden couldn't take it. Bickley was through. Welch comes charging out, gives it back to Byrne, back to Welch. He's 40 metres out, tries to bend it round in towards the pocket. No one at home. And Fabian Francis will take the ball in the back pocket.
And at the moment, that matchup of Paxman on Welsh is creating some problems for Port Adelaide.
Usually a lovely kicker of the ball, and that's no exception. He finds Darren Mead. Mead comes up towards centre wing. Wilson kicks up towards left half forward. He wants Treadray. Robin wearing him like a glove, but Treadray's able to sneak clear on this occasion from the left forward pocket. Doesn't bring it back far enough, but it was still a pretty good kick. Port have the opportunity. They've got it there with Stevens. The Stevens snap. It wobbles. It teased the goal umpire just for a moment.
Well, they're going long. They're kicking to position. Pack forming under the ball, and Port Adelaide players very keen to crumb the ball when it comes to ground. It's a good open game of football. We thought it might be a bit closer than this in terms of crushing the Pack.
In Port's attacking zone, can they take advantage of it all? Franco was there. James again. Out it comes. Back to Josh Franco. He misses.
You've got to kick those. You have to kick those. It's a free handball term. He's looking at the goals. All he has to do is get the ball around his body.
Gee, Franco's in the play, though. He's handling the ball quite a bit.
Yeah, the midfield on top at the moment, Curls, and you just wonder whether or not they could be a shade big at the present time, the Crows.
Hart heads to the outer side. Oh, this kick's got to be good. Smart. Well, he's got the pace to get away. Nigel Smart goes from half back up towards Sean Wren at half forward. Jarman waiting down, and he read it beautifully. Puts it onto the left foot, kicking down towards the half forward line. Coming crashing. No one able to pick it up. Eventually, Bickley can go short to Robin. Not quite short enough. And it's Paxman who defends to the line.
Good pressure by Port Adelaide. They're up and just forcing the Crows into making a couple of skill errors, as we saw on display there.
Mark Bickley too concerned about sharing the ball, then he should have kicked the goal. You have to be selfish inside 50.
And it's still there at the moment. Primus and Wren. Oh, to Rashudo. He's only got to kick it. The ball. He stormed through that tackle. Mark Rashudo, brute force as he escaped the Adam Kingsley tackle. A point in it.
A tap on from Mark Bickley was just first class.
Exquisite, I think.
Biglan's again. He wins it, but it's Wilson out of the middle. A high ball. Tyson Edwards gives chase, needs a kind bounce. He doesn't get it, but he's still in the picture there as it's taken to the line in not so subtle a fashion, but it's there by Nathan Bassett.
Now, sooner or later, an umpire has to penalise that for deliberately out of bounds. We saw Matthew Bishop do it at one end, and Nathan Bassett, no other intention other than to go to the boundary line.
In fact, they had a 2-on-1 situation there, perhaps a little bit conservative, Bassett. That's going to be a tough one to get the ball away.
An interesting attempted hand pass with his foot.
Jared, you mentioned earlier the Crows might be a bit big. Conditions here are perfect, which you would imagine would favour the big men. But a couple of weeks ago, when Port Adelaide's only win here, when they beat Brisbane, it was all the running players of Port Adelaide in very similar conditions.
That's a great strength.
Goes too early, but it doesn't matter. Costa thought about McLeod. Maybe he should have given him a little more thought. He's going to be gone. He is gone. Well, he didn't think about the hand pass, Cornsey.
Well, first intention is always the best one.
We saw in the record today where Kimmy said, what does he lack? He said natural football ability.
Burgoyne towards Treadray. Kick not to his suiting at all, and Robin will chip to Burn. Sets it up for Hart with a long hand pass, and now a penetrating kick towards centre wing. Rashudo tried to slap it on. The door may open for Stevens. Shepherding by Primus sees him clear. He's got to give a little ground, but it's okay. He's got Paxman at half back. Stephen Paxman, lovely kick to Barnaby French, and the big rower takes it on right half forward. So Port staying with them at the moment. Lyle takes the mark within scoring distance, and a chance for Port to stretch their lead.
Barnaby French just creating a bit of problem for the Crows in that Port Adelaide forward line. He's taller and stronger. And having spent so much time on the bench in previous weeks, I think he's desperate to have a run.
Lyle has just the one goal to his name for the season. He's now doubled it.
Oh, tôi đến Old Trafford bởi vì tôi phát giác ra một tiếng động rất là kỳ cục ở cái máy xe của tôi. Nó kêu tích, tích, tích. Tôi nói cho họ.
Margin here at Football Park in favour of Port. Biglands, Primus. An excellent tackle by Montgomery locks that ball up there with Costa, and we've got another bounce in the centre.
Yes, inside 50, Port Adelaide 8 already. The Adelaide Crows 5.
Great atmosphere here at Football Park. Full house. Francis. Beautiful little hand pass to Peter Burgoyne. That was absolutely sensational. Great play, and Corns is on the end of it. And he's got a chance now to stretch this lead.
Tremendous work from Fabian Francis. The handball wasn't quite accurate enough, but it was quick enough, and Peter Burgoyne's skillful enough to control it.
Well, your boy doesn't waste too much time in lining them up, Graham.
Oh, kicks like that.
Well, he's kicked the goal. You're a harsh father. Oh, no, he's hit the post. Are you nervous, Graham?
Very. Well, particularly a kick like that, which should be a goal.
Well, still some
it's not over yet.
consternation going on, isn't it?
Wait for this. It's a behind. Gee, there was some theatre in that, wasn't there?
Well, it didn't appear to hit the post. The players hit the post, of course. Let's have another look at it. No, I didn't see it. Elsewhere, have a look here. That's a clear goal.
Miles away.
The fans behind it also questioning that goal umpire's parentage. But it stands as one behind Lyle. Lyle is caught. Jarman has got him. The ball spills free, and the Crows will come away. Here's McLeod, almost down to the centre. He kicks up towards half-forward. Wren got a hand to it, but he was edged out. It was clever play. Port will clear through Jared Polden, back towards centre wing. Again, it's McLeod. He shrugs the tackle. He took it away from Trent Ray, and he kicks to half-forward. Adelaide have the numbers, but they couldn't take it cleanly. Mead back towards the centre. Gee, this is developing into a great game of footy. Primus tries to draw the player. Shocking hand pass, Matthew. Go again. Lyle does well. Tidies up to Primus. He gives it off to Wilson. He'll swing onto the left boot. 75 metres out. An ugly pump kick up towards half-forward. Where are the Crummers? Costa's waiting down in front for Adelaide. Costa gives it to Robran. And first one way, then the other.
Smart
back to Nigel Smart at half-back. And he can clear. Loves this situation with a bit of run. Smart has a bounce. Gee, the kick's got to be good. And a fine mark is that, McGregor.
Tremendous hands, Ken McGregor, under all sorts of pressure. Kept his eyes on the ball.
His kick is a real worm burner to Mark Rashudo, who got the call out wide, and that's okay. Look at the skills of Jarman. Almost leg. Poland gets it. An awful bounce. And Adelaide kick the goal through Freaky. Oh, you don't have to be dead to be sniffed, do you?
No, well, that's what... Umpire makes a mistake at one end. It bounces and rebounds, and Jared Polk in the right spot. Unfortunately, his left foot slipped him. Great work by Darren Jarman. Perhaps again should have kicked the goal, but Jared Polk in the right spot slips. Ball bounces into Brian Binky's arms. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of consternation still down in that Port Adelaide forward line. And we have a game.
2 points the margin. Under 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Biglands and Primus go at it again. Won by the latter, but Stengline will take it out to Byrne, who gives it to McLeod. And look at him cruise. Jarman-esque almost. And then just chips it over the top to the running Rashudo. He can go. Welch says, you go, give it back to McLeod. He does. Under pressure, gets a quick kick. Tyson Edwards waits down in front, but it goes out the back door. Who's got the pace? Edwards off the ground! They're back in business, leading by 4 points. It's another average bounce. Biglands, however, wins it down. The Costa kick was smothered. It's taken by Lyle. Suddenly the power inside 50. They've got to forget that controversial goal and get on with the business. The Crow defence working pretty well. Costa to McLeod once more, and away they go. Robran from half-back can run. He can have 3 or 4 bounces if he wants to. He's had 3. He looks down towards the forward line, down towards the 50. McGregor comes steaming out. Couldn't take it on the half volley. Jarman tried to use the body. Paxman goes to ground. Again, it's a Cryer ball. Welch and Wilson try and lock it up for their respective teams, and we'll have a bounce.
Sandy, Matthew Robert and Andrew McLeod, they're just having far too much time coming up the half-back line for Adelaide. The Port Adelaide forward line has to put more pressure on that because they are very skilled players and they are delivering the ball well.
Donald Dickey warming up on the sidelines too, Abba. 4 points the margin. Favour of the Crows. Wren and Primus. Rashudo almost went into him illegally. Costa trying to do the work from behind. Byrne beautifully tackled. Had one hand pinned. There was no way out. Costa keeps it in play. Sock it off the ground, but out on the full.
It's a good desperate game, and Adelaide Crows have steadied. Port Adelaide need to get their mind back on the job pretty quickly, go back to the basics of quick hands, long direct movement of the ball.
3 individual goal kickers for the Power at the moment. Lyle, Kingsley and James. Oh, he's gone.
Josh Franco saying, what about the neck?
Very congested across the half-forward line for the Crows. They've got to be able to see if Smart can run it through there and go to the longer option.
Well, he can't. He gets it inside 50, and again, it could be a question of pace. Biggie is going to get beaten here by Polton. Changes traffic and heads out the other way, and that's very sensible because they've got plenty of room up towards centre wing. Kingsley's kick is okay. Coming out is Corns.
Rockman's pushed forward, so they've got Warren Tredray fairly clear.
And Corns finds him. Just outside 50, gives the hand pass clear. In towards full court. This is better. Mark was dropped at the back. It won't matter. Howard will kick the goal. And this time it is a goal.
It was a bad miss, but just watch the way Barnaby French has pushed forward. The ball is on the wing with Corns, then Tredray. But the whole time, French has pushed forward into the pocket. You can't see him yet. The kick from Lyle is looking for Barnaby French. And a good contest under the ball. And Mark Harwood able to pounce on it, a bit like Tyson Edwards at the other end. Good contest at the ball, good crumbing.
Kingsley is off the ground and Dickey is on for Port as they regain the lead in this seesawing struggle. Bickley out of the centre for the Crows. Paxman gets a kind bounce. Wobbles it onto his boot and it spins away. Donald's just getting into the action. He's just come onto the ground. Sneaks away from Byrne. Gives away the hand pass to Burgoyne and goes short to Primus. Matthew Primus is between wing and half forward. Perfect day here in South Australia. Full house. Great atmosphere and a very, very good game unfolding. Corns the flyer. Shades of Graham Studley, but he couldn't pull down the mark. Smart loops the hand pass wide to Hart. He's under the pump, but he's got Edwards, and he uses him now. Tyson Edwards, a little chip. Getting underneath it, back in towards the centre. Almost back to Edwards himself. In fact, it is. He sockles it off the ground. It goes straight to James, who gives it to Franco. Franco looks down towards the pocket. This kick's good. It was good.
Yes, well, Brett Montgomery, it was a tremendous kick. And the umpire's called
Push.
A free kick here. Brett Montgomery under it, interfered with. It looked okay initially. You'd have to say that's fair enough. Simon Goodwood fist makes contact with the ball. No interference at all there.
So Montgomery will be hoping to take advantage of it and stretch the Port lead to 8 points.
Just while you're on that, boys, aren't you allowed to spoil anymore?
Well, the umpire panicked rather than looking at what he did. He looked at what he thought he did. Must say, Curls, I was a bit critical of Stephen Paxman on Welsh. Paxman's been really important for Port Adelaide in the last couple of minutes.
Yes, at this stage, he's okay.
35 metres out, 45-degree angle, kicks the goal. Port kicks clear.
And that's what he's there for. Initially to take marks. The spoil, unfortunately, deemed illegal by the umpire and Brett Montgomery. Just watch it again. Simon Goodwin turning. Doesn't touch him at all. Punches the ball. It's a beautiful spoil, in fact. So I guess it's a couple of controversials now.
Payback time.
Have evened up.
One to Montgomery.
Curl, Sean Wren at centre-half forward just doesn't appear to be working at the moment.
No, he definitely not. And boys, the wind has strength from going to the end that the Power are kicking.
What's it worth, Curl, do you think?
I'd say a couple.
Okay, well, they lead by 8 points. A few minutes remaining in this first quarter. Biglands, oh, he won it beautifully to Rashudo. Rashudo looks beyond Wren. Down towards full forward. McGregor was his target. Paxman is there at the back. Slight fumble, but then I think he's just as happy to see it over. In the meantime, there's a free kick for holding coming back to his teammate in Michael Wilson.
It looks like Brayden Lyle's gone on to Mark Rashudo now.
Well, he was the star in the first half of this quarter. I think the other one that needs a bit of a rest up forward with Darren Jarman, who I think is getting exposed with the early pace of the match.
Ryan Binky, those typical trademark hands in front of the pack.
Beautiful grab. He kicks them inside 50. Sting line couldn't take it cleanly. Fabian Francis out the back door to Brayden Lyle. Clever play. And they will steady it down towards Stevens on centre wing. He plays on now with a left foot again, putting pressure on Treadray. It was a good spoil by Robran. It drops back in front to Lyle. Around he goes, up towards half forward. Great use of the body on that occasion by Goodwin over Montgomery. He wants to play on. That's because he's got Tyson Edwards loose at half back. Byrne, 22 years of age today and almost pinged at the present for holding the ball.
Good
Byrne,
hands,
well, he threw that out to Goodwin, and Goodwin comes sprinting away up towards half forward. Not well directed and chopped off by big Barnaby French.
Sean Wren just is not getting anywhere near the footy at the moment, and I think he either needs a rest on the boundary or be pushed to full forward.
French to Lyle to Montgomery.
They're marking him up so well at the moment. They're getting French on that occasion back in front of him.
Montgomery to left half forward. James in front of the eyes. That's a good mark.
They're great hands there.
Nick Stevens takes the hand pass and sneaks clear. Kicks to half forward towards Corns. He got a hand to it, but that was all. Smart decides to leave it for Bassett. That could be dangerous. The kick from Bassett could be very dangerous because Wilson, I think, is underneath Jarman. And he has the ball just inside 50.
Interesting one on the wing for the Crows here. Doughty's replaced England, who's hardly touched the ball on a very dangerous Stevens.
Doughty coming in for just his second game, the boy from South Adelaide. In the meantime, Wilson.
Nick Stevens, 5 kicks and 1 handball already, Curls.
Michael Wilson looking for his second goal of the season. It's high and it's good. It's there.
Well, he's a tremendous young player. He's on Darren Jarman. Darren Jarman starting at half forward, having a run in the centre. Michael Wilson going with him. And Jarman moving towards the centre of the ground. The kick came out pretty hurriedly from the Crows, and Wilson in front, able to take a pretty good mark. And his kicking for goal was tremendous. Just the advantage of the breeze slightly behind him.
6 individuals have goals for Port. Mark Rashudo is the only multiple scorer on the ground with 2.
Graham, Michael Wilson tends to get Darren Jarman, but when it's in the Crows forward line, I think Darren Jarman's body work's too strong, so I think if Wilson can drag him up the field, he's going to beat him on the running.
Just on a minute remaining. It's been an excellent start by Port. Doughty gets caught. In fact, this is their best first quarter in the showdowns to date.
Well, it's no wonder, Sandy. The attack on the man and the footy by Port has been first class, and they're getting a fair contribution from just about everybody out in the park at the moment.
Very different side to the one we saw last week. The Doughty hand pass to Rashudo is okay. Rashudo kicks to half forward. Bolden, 1, 2, tries to spoil. Francis couldn't take it, but he's got good backup support. It's going to come back. It's coming back as Stevens and Co are away. Francis can't believe it, but the free kick goes the way of Mark Bickley. Bickley kicks in towards the pocket. Doughty, if it sits, he can go into goal. He can kick it. But he misses to the right. And now he's got to push. Well, a couple of controversial decisions in this closing minute. We see Michael Doughty with a free kick in the right forward pocket.
It looked as though Nick Stevens got him in the side, and Nick's saying that, but I tell you what, it was a tremendous attack on the ball by young Doughty.
I've never heard you so passionate about Port Adelaide in my life, Gauzy. Maybe it's the dinner two at Sammy's that you've got on it that's clouding your judgment.
In replay, the right hand was in his back. The free kick was a tremendous attack from Michael Doughty.
Here's Doughty. Well, he's done the same thing again. He's popped through a behind.
It's very intimidating when you find yourself in that pocket. So you go for a drop punt or you go for the check side. He went for the check side and didn't allow enough.
Bolton on the kick in. Time at half-back to look to Lyle. Well, he's got Stevens screaming for it short, but he's got a bit of acreage there and he can get clear. Seconds only remaining to half-forward. Oh, Treadway's plucked one off the top.
It's a tremendous mark.
And an important kick with only seconds remaining. They lead by 13 points. This would be a handy little 19-point buffer at quarter time if he can kick it.
They're on at the moment, Port Adelaide. You'd be staggered if this one doesn't go through.
The only flaw in Warren Treadray's game is his kicking.
He'll kick this one for you, Cool.
13 goals, 10 for the season. Oh, my hat. 13 goals, 11. Big opportunity wasted there, sadly, for Warren Treadray. He booted 40 goals last year, on target for something similar this year. But that was one they really did want. It's quarter time here at Football Park in Showdown number 7, and it's been a great start. Port Adelaide, with 6 individual goal kickers, have had their best quarter in the history of the Showdowns. They lead 6-3 to Adelaide, 4-1.
This news update brought to you by Colonial's personal insurance portfolio.
Good afternoon. Coming up at 5:35 on 7
They've kept a very open forward line. They've dropped Warren Treadray back into the goal square, and they're going with Montgomery as their dummy centre forward.
Byrne got a hand of that, then he gets a second attempt. Gets the hand pass away. Oh, gone was Doughty. Beautiful tacky.
Well, he was mesmerised. I have to say, Matthew Primus did the perfect thing. He didn't overcommit to the tackle. So Michael Doughty in 2 minds then. He couldn't go around him, watch him, just stayed off him, and then when the opening was there, tackled him.
Just overplaying it a bit. There was the first possession in a hot match is always the best one. And trying to fade and dummy and get through is very risky business.
This is a big kick to start the quarter. They're kicking into the slight breeze. What a bonus an early goal would be. And what a bonus it is.
And you can see some of the feeling of the Port Adelaide camp there. Matty Primus has fought courageously back from that knee injury. His form hasn't been tremendous this year, but he has given a contest, 100% contest. He won the free kick for his tackling disciplines, and dear me, young Doughty being taken from the ground after that indiscretion. It won't do his confidence anything, but really the move of Kane Johnson onto the wing perhaps should have been the first one anyway.
So Doughty on the phone. Primus has his first goal.
And the coach is telling him, Sandy, give it first time.
And we go back to the centre. Port leading by 20 points. French, Rashudo crashed into Dickey. Here's Franco again.
Dangerous time here for the Crows, Sandy.
My word.
Power's confidence is just growing before our very eyes.
Tyson Edwards, Johnson, Bickley, a chance for Byrne. If it sits, he's in trouble. Loses it. The kick is wide. Dickey.
It was great vision. Donald Dickey made good ground for it.
Gives it to Lyle. Chips to half forward. Porter making them run at the moment. Stevens is on right half forward. Goes over the top of Kane Johnson. Goes in towards the forward line. Smart comes over the top. Can't affect the tackle. The ball is pulled back in.
Robbery.
And finally it's McLeod who sneaks clear. Back towards the half-back line. Lyle and Edwards are racing for the ball. It eludes them over the line.
Just getting more numbers to the loose contest. Cornsey at this stage.
Confidence is everything, Jared. They're on the front foot this week. They're not scared of making the mistake. And surprisingly, they're causing Adelaide to make the mistakes.
And if they get up here, Port Power, every AFL footballer will be very concerned, because competitive training may come back into fashion.
Well, I can't understand why it ever went out.
Graham, at this stage, if Port Power have had a hard week on the track, if they can continue with this style of footy, keeping the pressure on, a big upset coming here.
It's just a bit warm out there, Kurs. The only problem will be their legs in the last quarter.
And we've got a long way to go yet, gentlemen. Don't worry. Rashudo to the line.
Sandy just to the break. Mark Williams seemed pretty happy with the first quarter, as he should be. Port Adelaide kicking more goals than points for a change, but he had the boys in there in a huddle, arms around each other. They're very positive about it.
And Kim Costa is on Burgoyne, but Burgoyne trying to push onto Rashudo, which is leaving Braden Lyle free.
Oh, look at the desperation of Josh Franco, trying to storm through that pack and then applying the tackle.
Both teams equally desperate, there's no doubt about it, but Port Adelaide had so much flack after their disappointing performance last week. They had to bounce back. Now, the third quarter is the premiership quarter, they say, but the other critical part of the game is the second part of the second quarter.
20 points the margin at the moment. French a little early maybe. Dickey to Burgoyne. Looked to be a throw, but play goes on into half forward. Waiting down is Lyle. He gets an awful bounce. Smashed into Byrne. Robran flicks it wide to Goodwin, off to McLeod. Finally they're clear to Hart. Gives chase and gets clear. Wide towards centre wing. What can Jarman do here? Gets an awful bounce. And then with some superb dive. It would have picked him up almost a silver medal in Olympic Games.
Great work, Kane Johnson.
There he goes. Kane Johnson inside 50, but it's going to be chopped off. Wren was the target. They didn't find him.
Dickey loose out in the wing.
Paxman goes beyond that. Frank goes very good. And he's playing well. Kicks it in towards half forward. Big pack of players. Corns came steaming out. Couldn't take it. Robran at the back should tidy up. And he does. Bassett to Hart. In front of the scoreboard here at Football Park.
Johnson just lurking out the back, and this could spell danger for Port Power.
Yes, he cooled his heels on the bench in the first quarter. Now he kicks towards McGregor, who gets a shocking bounce. He needs support. Benke gives it to him. Tries to get the hand pass out. Paulden's under the pump. Wren can't get a clean run at him. He chips short. He chips short, and look what he's done. How dangerous and costly could that one be?
There are a lot of golden rules in football.
And one is?
One is when you kick across goals, kick it as hard as you can.
Welsh kicks the goal and makes them pay.
On Pop Stars,
they won a competition.
The girls tackle their worst critic yet.
I'm going to leave. I won't be joining you.
And it ends with a temper tantrum. Plus their first public performance.
Jackie O on stage and everyone trying for listening.
At the special time, 7:30 tonight on 7.
The money.
French again goes at it in the middle. Rashudo and Franco. Edwards over the top. Another bounce.
Just talking about tall forward lines. Port Adelaide at the moment running right up forward. Warren, Treadray, Harwood, Corns and Primus. The only small man there is James, so and he's got to be at the back of the pack as the ball comes in.
They've got no one at centre half forward as we speak. It's vital for these clearances for the Crows not to allow it to leak out the back, which it hasn't.
Big ones to Edwards to Rashudo. Clever play on to Bickley, who left it behind. Fabian Francis will lock it up. He does get it out. A little too quick for Franco. It is fierce. Byrne couldn't take it cleanly. Franco and Bickley and Francis in there. And there'll be a bounce. But they pounced on that like seagulls on a leftover sandwich.
There's a lot of loose balls. There's a lot of fumbling. The ball is not bouncing truly off the turf for some reason. Players aren't watching it closely enough. Maybe it's the pressure, but you must take it first time.
French, Biglands. Gee, the ladder's done well. Rhett Biglands. Back towards the middle. Treadray, look out. Robran right on your hammer. Penetrating hand pass to Braden Lar. That came from Stevens. It was a beauty. What's this kick like? Ooh, not good. McLeod could have marked it instead he tried to slap it clear. Rashudo runs into a brick wall. This tackling is sensational. Stevens is running. Gets the hand pass away. Roger James goes for goal. Does the Dodger.
Put it down to Mark Hunt.
I think it doesn't matter. You're probably just tired.
I can't believe it.
It doesn't matter.
Like...
Where are you going?
Out.
Craig.
Kicks his second goal. We go back in the middle. It's an awful bounce. Kicked down towards Kane Johnson, but he's beaten for it by Fabian Francis, who chips to centre wing. And there he finds Donald Dickey. Dickey looks towards right half forward. That kick too is a little wide for Brett Montgomery.
And Sandy, you've got to say, with the event of Barnaby French going to the middle, he's certainly doing a much better job than Primus was.
Yes, Biglands did an excellent job, didn't he, in the first quarter?
What about Peter Vardy, Curls, getting him onto the ground?
Well, he's a known AFL product, and he does play well. But
just got to get more legs out there. Every loose ball situation, the tackling and the running power of the power is killing them.
Exactly right.
Here's trouble. Here's trouble. Montgomery takes it from Peter Burgoyne. He heads for home. It's coming back, but not enough. And one behind goes on the board.
Didn't swing.
Sandy, just talking about the style of the game, the openness of it. It'd be nice for Port Adelaide, Gavin Wangan to skip, but this would be absolutely ideal situation for him to play football.
Sean Wren to come up into the ruck, Curls.
He was at full forward in the last few minutes. He's looking for the kick-off here.
Hart. He won't get there, Montgomery. Biglands, look out. big man. Gone.
The Crows are just holding on to it too long. They've got to give it first time. Port Adelaide's chase and tackling has been superb. They can't afford to take the risk of take teams on, and a 50-metre penalty.
Yes.
That's too cruel.
Against Johnson.
That is too cruel, Sandy. He's chasing his man down. He hasn't crossed the mark. He's run close to it, and this is going to give Donald Dickey a free shot at goal. The penalty is too harsh.
And fair real estate. He hasn't got a block there. He's got a little farmlet. And he's going to kick from 35 metres directly in front, and Biglands has gone to the bench. And was it Vardy who came on?
Wren's gone onto the ball, Biglands to the bench, and Vardy to half forward on Jared Polton.
If this is a goal, it will put a little bit of a scare into the Crows' camp.
Pulled the kick.
But it's not a good kick.
The knee bent pretty early in the motion, and he didn't at any stage attempt to kick through that. But you've just got to admire the way Port Adelaide have taken what they've done throughout the week. Early morning sessions on the beach, obviously plenty of grunt and fierce tackling at training. And at this stage, the Crows have had the challenge thrown out to them, and they're not responding just at the moment.
Bassett's kick was very good, finding his skipper. Chips to the outer side where Jarman is lurking. Looks up towards Johnson, just forward of centre wing.
Jared, it just makes you what happens upstairs in players, makes you wonder what happens upstairs in players' minds. They were that bad last week, and it's just a totally different team out there.
Was he off? No, he wasn't. Bickley takes the mark from Johnson and goes back now. Kicks in towards half forward. Now, Jarman will be a flyer from behind, but he couldn't take the mark. Smart is there as well. Corns, Treadray, and the boundary line on the outer side.
Graham, you haven't taught him how to kick left foot yet.
Oh, there is a beautifully weighted kick. He won't listen to a thing I say anyway.
I thought it was a bit harsh of Cornsey to go down a quarter time to berate the goal umpire.
Something you don't see a lot of, is it? 12 and a half minutes remaining in the half. Franco, now he drew that ball in, but umpire Wen.
It cannot be holding the ball.
Gee.
I'd love to see that in replay, but he's made the contest. The ball's tried to come out, it gets knocked back in by the legs, and the umpire takes the easy decision of awarding the free kick against the player who's made all the effort to win the ball.
Bickley puts them inside 50. Welch was a big flyer, but he couldn't take the mark.
I think once again what Power are doing particularly well is blocking up as a free kick is played, blocking up the Crows forward line. This will just be a raffle, and it's coming out to lucky 23, Andrew McLeod. They're not getting the ball in quickly to allow players a one-on-one situation.
I tell you what, though, they are in this game with a big show.
I think in this situation, though, if a player gets jumped on the ball there, he just hasn't got a chance to get it out.
But he's got rid of the ball. The ball came back to him. It was a second effort. The umpire is making a poor judgment. The player's made the ball. He's handballed it out. It's come back to him. He can't control that.
Have a blood rule here too.
Yeah. So Matthew Bishop, is it?
Yes. So Daniels will come on while there's a repair job done there.
He's been a good recruit for Port Adelaide.
Well, he's played. This is his fourth game of the year, and everyone has been good. Well, last week he was quiet, but this might hurt Port Adelaide at the moment. He's been on Ken McGregor, and actually has pretty much eclipsed him here, so they want to get that blood stemmed pretty quickly.
Gallieres will certainly know that this is an important kick.
McLeod. From 48 metres. Big kick for Adelaide. Big behind.
Well, the noise was obviously the Port Adelaide contingents there. Normally noise in Adelaide like that is a goal.
Well, as you said at the start, it's even Stevens as far as crowd goes. Oh, Mead has caught one on the back of the head. And he's also got the ball, and he doesn't worry about anything else. He gets straight on with it. He goes over the top to big Barnaby French. French has got players streaming down the ground, and one of them is Jared Polton. He looks up towards Treadray. Rodman is right there with him. He got a good fist to it. Harwood is at the back. He can't take it cleanly, and eventually Hart and Goodwin see it over the line for a throw-in.
Yes, their kick-off strategies have worked very well today for Port Adelaide. And some sign of frustration there, perhaps, for Sean Wren. That tip behind the ear for Darren Mead.
21 points the margin. Wren and Primus. The latter got a hand to it. Peter Burgoyne. Dangerous Peter Burgoyne. Goes across the face of goal and just sneaks into behind.
Tremendous pressure from Andrew McLeod, though. Peter Burgoyne not quite clean in his first take. Gave Andrew McLeod a chance to get to him, and the pressure from McLeod forcing the error.
He's been a star, Andrew McLeod. Perhaps his only mistake was that missed shot at goal, but he is really holding back the tide at the moment.
Just under 11 minutes remaining. Crucial period of time as Barnaby French takes on a couple. Wren comes over the top again. Spills clear. Here's an opportunity for Lyle. Little hand pass. Look out, Josh. You're going to be surrounded. He is. He gives it back. They're trying to get it wide, but well done, Nigel Smart. Only as far as Lyle. Out of the corner of his eye, spots Montgomery. He's wider on right half forward. Brett Montgomery's got a chip in towards the 50. Pushed under pressure. Loses it. Burned towards the line, and he's taken over.
No, he's actually touched it. He's touched his boot as he's running out. And it's out of bounds on the full now.
It looks as though Franco didn't realise that either, and he is going to take the kick.
Just watch the replay of it if we get a chance to see. Just touches his boot as it goes out, and every reason to make that rule so it's a legally distanced kick.
Great spotting. In towards full forward. Oh, and a big mark by big Matty Primus. He was calling for it to come long. He got the call, and he's taken a big grab. And this to stretch the lead to 28 points.
And important for Port Adelaide too, because Adelaide have come strongly at Port Adelaide in these last 10 minutes. Haven't been able to do any damage on the scoreboard, and if Port Adelaide can rebound, convert the goal, it's quite heartbreaking.
Primus for his second. Has got the goal.
Whoa, you're way ahead with the Ribco Big League Legend prizes. Pristone, Bullet Wash and Wet.
Go and give him the job to Costa.
Primus has 2 goals. Lyle out of the centre. Kicks down towards half forward. And the mark is taken by Costa. He gives it away to Robrin. They need a couple here badly. They're going with the aid of the breeze. It's a wobbly old putt kick up towards half forward. Barnaby French forced to do the roving. Couldn't do so. Wilson locks it up. He asks the question, and he's got the answer in the affirmative.
Gee, that's stiff.
You hate that, I know, but let's happen.
I know it's gone the other way this time, but it's the player making the ball. It's held in by the tackling players. No chance to get rid of it.
Well, don't upset yourself, Cornsey. Play goes on. Paxman, you're caught. But he just gets a kick up towards half forward. Smart had to beat a couple. It is tough, as you would expect. It goes in again. Hart's on the end of it. Pulls it round the body back towards Paxman on centre wing. The diving attempt, not good enough. The door may open for the Crows. They've got the runners. Tyson Edwards looks towards the 50. Mead is at the back. Couldn't get a hand to it. Port again, defending. Beakey goes for goal. This will be a goal because there's only 2 players chasing. They needn't worry. It's bounced through.
All this lifetime health cover. I mean, where are you supposed to start?
Just over 8 minutes remaining in the first half. French went a little early. Bickley Rashudo has picked up plenty of touches towards half forward. And a good mark taken by Edwards.
Simon Goodwin into the centre has been important for Adelaide.
To half forward. Good use of the body on that occasion by Paxman.
He's done well.
He clears to the outer side. He wants his big man, who's got to get a free kick.
Now that is totally undisciplined, Darren.
Yeah, it's not very subtle, was it? To half forward, Diggy looks up towards Treadray. Couldn't plug it with the one hand. Here's an opportunity for James at the back. They've got him. He does get rid of the ball. He gives it to Lyle. High ball up towards half forward. Smart again defends.
He's got a couple of spare players out on the other wing, but he hasn't seen them because he's gone to Sean Wren and co.
He's gone, yes, towards Costa, who gets a bad bounce. Wren is there with him. He gets his kick up towards half forward. Now's a chance for Peter Vardy. Up towards the 50. McGregor goes to ground. Who's going to be first to recover? Daniels is giving chase as well. And the Port boys more than happy to see it over the line.
Tremendous contest from Darren Mead then. Had to make up ground, got to the right side of it. Kenny McGregor at centre half forward. Doesn't have to do much, just has to provide the post through which they can play.
McGregor doing the ruck work on that occasion. Edwards asked the question of Franco. And umpire Nash comes in to take control.
And what you're seeing there is a player sweating off, just grabbing the Guernsey, holding his hands or flapping his arms in the air, saying, how about a free kick? It's such an easy way to earn a free kick.
An important time for both sides, especially for Adelaide. They've got it in their attacking zone.
Trouble now.
Daniels is in all sorts of strife. Paxman applies a big tackle on Vardy. Mead there as well. There'll be another ball up. Biglands and Doughty spelling on the sidelines for Adelaide. French to contest again.
Sean Wren one handball at this stage, boys.
He's picked up one there with a little palm down towards Mead. That's an interesting tackle. Look at that.
Well, it's red hot the rule.
We won't say it. Darren Mead can say it.
Well, Tyson Edwards is kicking for his second goal.
The player going for the ball must be protected and must be encouraged to keep going for the ball. That's the basic principle of football.
Big kick, check side required. The ironical cheers go up and you know that it's a behind.
Unusual Tyson Edwards. His goal kicking in the last couple of years has been sensational. His accuracy and his conversion rate. This year not quite so good.
Stingline standing by to come onto the ground. Burgoyne gives it back to Francis. He kicks up towards the centre wing. This is beautiful play because the mark has been taken by Matthew Bode. Bode's got players streaming down the ground. He's ignored Stevens and he's elected to go inboard, in towards half forward. All seem to be numbered, almost a mark to Robrin. Treadray, clever, round the body, it's high. Rashudo, can he judge it? He can. Transfers play towards Johnson on the outer side as Byrne prepares to have a spell on the interchange bench. Sneaks away from Primus off to Robrin. Not down the centre wing yet, and it may take a while if you're going to kick like that. Should be a free kick to Port because there was holding on there illegally.
Well, that was a tough free kick too. Peter Burgoyne threw the ball in front of him. Simon Goodwin claimed it, but released it straight away.
Burgoyne has it though between centre and half forward. 21 points the lead to Port. Pitiful last week, bouncing back today. Rashudo in the hole, can't take it with a clean mark but recovers well. Francis is at the back. Look out, Fabian. Peter Vardy could have you. Burgoyne is there to assist. The two go again. Look at Fabian Francis. He pulls it in. Now it's underneath. And we'll have a bounce on the outer side.
Tyson Edwards, Graham, whilst he's set up a couple of goals up forward, it just looks as if his leg power and speed may be required in the middle. Darren Jarman being one of the best centre square players the game's ever seen. You'd imagine just plonking him there for a couple of quarters would produce enough goals.
Well, he's so flexible and he's so athletic. I still think underrated by his Adelaide coaches. I don't think they completely understand exactly what he could do, and he doesn't always get great responsible roles.
Primus doing the ruck work. Johnson towards the line. Bode seeing him over.
Port Adelaide this quarter inside their 50 14 times to Adelaide's 8. You'd have to say they haven't hurt Adelaide on the scoreboard at all.
21 points up.
Can I repeat that, please, Graham?
It's not match winning at this stage.
No way, no. We've got a half a footy to go. Just ask Nick Stevens. He was at the bottom of that, but they've got it out now. And here comes the power up towards the half-forward line. I think he's kick taken by Hart. Chips it short over the top, and that's okay. Picked up by Goodwin. From the middle he goes long up to half forward. McGregor's in front. Mead was at the back. Welsh is there as well. Had it, lost it, regained it. Paxman rides him into the ground. The umpire's 60 metres away. Now he closes. Up goes a cry of ball. Paxman, Welsh and co. And a bounce, a ball up on 50.
Well, Stephen Paxman on Scott Welsh, very crude.
Yep.
The umpire, for three umpires to be so far from the action.
They were a long way. The closest one was Nash, but he was a long way away. Wren tries to go over the top. Stevens tried to go through, so too does Costa. And he has some success. Johnson couldn't handle the hot footy, loses it. Polton runs into a brick wall, needs assistance and gets it. They're away on the outer side, but the boundary line may be a little too close. Bode just keeps it in play. Then looks down towards Burgoyne. Oh, Port have got a favourable bounce here. Franco is there for the assist. He swings around now and spears it into half forward. Tredray marks 55 out. Into a slight breeze, distance will test him. French ignored. Harwood down there. He can go short if he likes. He does to the 50. The mark's taken by Corns. He's away with a high kick. Again, he plays on. Roger James in the square saying that old hit song, What About Me?
Just by himself.
It is ignored, and his father's pulling what hair he has left. Almost out here in the commentary box as Bassett goes to the outer side. Bickley takes the mark. Plays on wide towards Costa. Sits nicely for Kim. Or does it?
Hit him on the head.
Somehow he gets a boot to it, but it's straight to Francis. James and co here. Corns giving him the call. James plays on, going short to Bode. An important time here now with just a couple of minutes remaining. Bode kicks in towards Tredray in the pocket, and he takes the mark.
The point I'm making about Port Adelaide have had so much of the play, though, but they haven't really hurt Adelaide enough on the scoreboard. Adelaide are still pretty much in this game.
Not if players that are free running with the ball bouncing for them, they're going to fumble like that.
It's the pressure of the game. You can turn that over at half-time, though, Cruz.
Pressure of the game of backside. It's just controlling the ball with skill.
Righto, let's watch this kick. Steady down, you two. Oh, it's a lovely kick. What a kick. What a goal.
Kick is a
joke.
This man was best on ground in the last showdown.
And the times when a free kick is worthwhile giving away.
Generally not when you're 35 metres out from
goal. Here we go.
Well, that's 45 and it hasn't made the distance. It's one behind. There's a bit of feeling in this commentary box this afternoon, I can tell you. And I like it.
That's right down here. I've got umpire Curley next to me. He's picking up every free kick.
Bassett brings it back in. Oh, no, the mark not to Corns, but oh so close. Smart goes to ground. Look out, Lyle. Look out, Braden Lyle. Gets it away to Bode. Quickly on once again. Port having a ton of possessions. Tredray's the man. Takes it on the chest. 55 out. An open goal. He can go over the top. French is saying, here we are. Head towards the square. Tredray's not confident.
Well, he won't make the distance. He's got a slight breeze in his face.
Well, he's got the youngster out wide, and Sean Wren's never going to make the distance.
And he's got the youngster. No, he hasn't. And Wren does well. Wren goes again. He's taken in a headlock, Sean Wren, but he's prevented a score. And that is extremely well done because Stevens was set to go. Oh, what a half. What a half here at Football Park.
No, it's been fantastic by Port Adelaide. They went in with a plan. They introduced a number of their smaller players. Donald Dickey came in to give them some run, and Josh Franco was always going to come back. But Roger James got another Guernsey, Graham, and he was particularly good in that first quarter. And Adelaide just can't match them at the moment with their running power and tenacity at the footy.
Well, it's one thing to be able to do it for a half. To sustain it's the other matter. Roger James has been good, and a lot of people saying around Port Adelaide, why was he dropped initially? He doesn't appear to do too much wrong. He's gone back and had very good form for Norwood and has had a really important role to play here. A couple of goals off half forward, the only crumbing player in their forward line. And free kicks are interesting, boys. Port Adelaide 16, Adelaide 6.
What are you reading of that?
Perhaps they're first at the ball.
Finding a home is a puzzle.
There should be a window over there.
Towards Robran, who goes to Edwards. Thinks about Bickley at centre wing, and he's got him now. Rashudo is ignored short. He elects to go longer towards Barty. Clean bowls a couple. Bit of pushing and shoving. Welch, the door opens for him. He snaps at goal, but he's away to the left for one behind.
Yeah, good positive move by Adelaide. Ben Marsh has gone to the forward pocket just to add a little bit more height. And for such a big man, he's very quick, kicks a beautiful long ball. So in tandem with Scott Welsh, that will be something that Port Adelaide have to watch on that full forward line for Adelaide.
But Graham, to get up and win this footy match, those goals like that one, they're the ones they have to get.
Costa was in front, but he couldn't take the mark. Mead will do the shepherding here. That ball's got to sit, however, and it doesn't. It refuses to for Stevens. Eventually he does go short. I think he wanted Lyle. Wren intercepts, however, and it's a high kick by Lyle back towards centre wing. Fabian Francis uses the step ladder and he takes it on his chest. With the aid of the slight breeze, he kicks to half forward. Beautiful mark by Treadray. Stevens is running for him. Nick Stevens from 50. Short little chip is excellent. And a great start here for Port Adelaide in this second half. If Harwood can convert from 40 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Well, it was a beautiful kick from Fabian Francis. His teammates know what penetration he's got with his leg. A great mark by Warren Treadray, and the handball, whilst it was outside, the running Stevens still released Harwood.
Here he is for his second. He starts at left, way left. She won't come back.
Both teams missing very easy goals at the start of this third quarter, and both of those scoring opportunities are vital, either for the Crows to get back into the game or Port Adelaide to further put their stamp on it.
Graham, can the Crows afford to have Marsh, Biglands and Wren all on the ground at the one time?
Well, one centre-half forward, one's on the ball, one's in the forward pocket.
I know that's their positions, but in essence, they're all ruckman.
Yeah, well, Marsh is more a forward-line player than a ruckman.
Here's Wren playing in front. He's got it underneath him. The umpire calls play on. Franco does. He does it beautifully. Look at the hand pass. Here it comes to Burgoyne. He's clear from 55 metres. What's his accuracy like? In towards goal. He goes, and he's got it.
On Pop Stars.
They won a competition.
The girls...
Player to kick a goal. Big ask now for the Adelaide Crows. It's out to 35 points. French goes early. Franco charged through. Burgoyne again. Gets away from Costa. Chips like a 9-9 to Treadray.
I've been waiting to say, boys, that this fella here now is just going to take over that forward area. His last 6 or 7 minutes in the second quarter and his opening start in this one, he's looming as a very dangerous player.
Just the one goal so far in this game. Distance will test him here as well. Kicking from 55. Accuracy too is a test for Treadray this season.
Sound interesting how Port Adelaide start their centre bounces. There's no one across their half forward line. All the players on the full forward line, and then you see just then Peter Burgoyne comes out, and he's got about 4 or 5 players coming at him.
Yep. Exactly right, as Jared said also. As Edwards goes to the outer side, Robran tries to come in from the side. No mark taken. The quick hand pass is shot out from Sting line. They move it up towards centre wing, but no further, as Johnson is well spoiled, much to the delight of the Port fans on the outer side. He's a doer, is Fabian Francis.
Well, Kane Johnson had an immediate impact when he came on in the second quarter. He's gone to half forward, and Fabian Francis has just lifted. He's playing a great leader's role.
Primus, Rashudo waiting down in front. Johnson was in front of that pack as well. Franco towards the line and sees it over.
No love lost. Josh Franco been very good for Port Adelaide.
What do you do at half-time, Graham, when you can see that the opposition group are far more energised, they've got the spark, and you get the feeling that you're just a shade off the pace?
Well,
as I'm sure Gary Ayres would have.
You can inflame and stimulate it, or else you can be cool and controlled about it and say, and they only had to kick the first goal. If every effort could be channeled into winning the first ball and kicking the first goal, it's amazing how you can turn around a half-time deficit.
Rashudo's kick is with Welch, but he's almost back to the centre. He's gone.
Again, he made the play. He had to do the hard work, and the umpire sweating off as the Port players were sweating off.
Burgoyne's been very exciting to watch. Goes wider to Lyle. Don't tell me Paxman's going to kick a goal. Look at this. Oh, down he goes. Pick yourself up, Mr. Paxman. And he does, but all too late as Stengline tries to weave his way through the pack. Lyle is clean bowled. They want the boundary line, the Crows. They don't find it. The call out the back again for Lyle. This time that hand pass just a fraction too far.
Well, there's something wrong with that, either the ball or the turf. The number of ball handling errors we've had when players are pursuing bouncing balls.
Seems to be more prevalent with the Crows, though. The Adelaide, Port Adelaide just look clean to me.
Both
Primus. Bickley with strength to Rashudo. Smothered. Or could have been a kicking in danger. And the advantage is going to be paid here. Don't worry about that, boys. The advantage is paid. Down towards the forward line. Crows have the numbers. Robran has the footy and the boundary line.
Brett Montgomery is saying, what about my back ump?
Exactly.
Hey, also very interesting to notice, boys, that since Costa's gone off Burgoyne, he's loomed into the game already in this quarter.
He has, no doubt about that, Peter Burgoyne.
You can be concerned with Kim Costa's ball handling, but you should never, ever be concerned with the ability to make the contest and make his opponent earn his kicks.
Montgomery flying. Here goes Franco. He's caught. Johnson's got him and he's going nowhere.
It's Ben Marsh as the ruckman here for Adelaide. I agree with Gerard to this extent. He's not the ruckman. It's either Biglands or Wren on the ball and Marsh in the forward pocket.
From the bounce, James, beautiful pickup. Here's an opportunity now for Stevens. He sets sail for home with a long roll. What a beauty! Against the margin. Adelaide in deep strife to state the obvious. Goodwin ripped to the ground. Burgoyne pumped up. And another bounce.
And it's the midfield doing the damage. Franco and Burgoyne particularly. Port Adelaide controlling the ball there, and Adelaide being starved of opportunities in their forward line.
Rashudo over the top. Johnson, not quite, but he recovers. Gives it back. It's Goodwin who takes it in towards full forward. Clean bowls a lot, but there's been a whistle. It's going to come all the way back.
It was a push as he was...
Yep, he's going to take it, Goodwin.
It's a tough world, fellas. Kimmy Costa, I guess, close to best on ground against Hawthorn with his magnificent job on Crawford, now being replaced
by Byrne. But this is Goodwin. He's a long way from home. Still a fair distance. Who's at the back for the Adelaide Crows? There's no one. And it's dangerously taken to the line for one behind.
He elected to concede the behind, but they had plenty of time to pick it up. They had enough players there to control it.
Still doesn't stop the old heart going in the mouth, Graham, does it?
And this too.
Kept in play by Paulton. He does well, but it's a wobbly kick that spins away from Treadray, and it wasn't a good kick, and we've got another throw in.
Adelaide's defence on the kickoffs, the defensive screen has been pretty loose today. There's been holes in it everywhere. Port Adelaide on a lot of occasions from the behind have been able to come away quite easily.
The power hitting back today at Football Park. From the throw-in, Stevens in front of the pack, Franco there as well, and another bounce, the only result to come out of that. Rashudo has 2 goals and Benke has 2 goals for Adelaide. They're the only multiple scorers for the Crows. Matthew Primus and Roger James each have 2 for the Power. Stevens through heavy traffic, but he put his teammate under the pump as well, Lyle. Somehow he got out of that and got a kick towards the 50. Look at the gang tackling of Port. Sensational. Franco gives it back. Here's a chance for Bode. Round the body. Past Montgomery. Up to full forward. Smart is there. The advantage is going to be paid. I think Primus thought it may go the other way. Smart will take it away. Towards the outer side. He wants Tyson's sting line. He goes to ground, but he does well to tap it clear. That's good play. In towards Goodwin, who looks to half forward and ran.
Sean Wren's first mark.
A frustrated Sean Wren, I feel.
And his second kick.
Pulling it wide, seeing Robrin out of the corner of his eye. He kicks from 48 metres. Distance won't be a problem. Welch is at the back. He's marked it over the line.
Just
it is over
the line, Sandy.
Yep.
Yes, midfield disposals telling the tale here. Port Adelaide 127, including 33 marks, and Adelaide just 105. Mark Bickley doing pretty well, though. Mark Rashudo doing pretty well.
Oh, Wilson has to do very, very well. That is sensational play. And he gives it across to Lyle, who kicks to Treadray. Treadray's a long way from home, so he heads in towards the pocket. Smart is at the back. Montgomery is there as well. In the end, the Port forward forced to defend and cause a throw.
I've seen Brent Montgomery come from the Western Bulldogs with a big reputation for the high mark. Just showing a lack of confidence behind the pack there. He elected to grab Nigel Smart instead of trying to jump on him, which he probably would have done in previous years. I don't know whether they're trying to curb that enthusiasm.
Primus wins it, but straight to Smart. Tumbles it down towards half-back. Dickey in front. Bode, look at him go. Matthew Bode caught. Primus also caught, and he might just about be pinged. He's at the bottom of that huge pack.
Yes, well done, Matthew Bode. He attacked the ball fiercely. The handball to Matty Primus was at his feet. It's a long way for a big ruckman to bend down, and he couldn't take it cleanly when he absolutely needed to.
Primus goes again. Johnson. A high ball towards centre wing. French sets himself, and he takes a good mark.
He's been very good.
The big rower chips in towards the middle and accidentals it. We'll see Lyle pick himself up and kick Port forward once more. The power is on here at Football Park today. Don't worry about that. He goes wide to the outer side. Not a good kick. And Bickley takes a fine mark. He plays on straight away with a hand pass to Hart, who looks towards Vardy on centre wing. Effectively smashed back inboard. Dickey lands on it. Gee, that was good work by Donald as he gives it to Polton, who kicks up towards centre wing. James could do the roving work here if Hart will give it away. He won't give it away. He's a real miser. And eventually it's Stingline who gets the hand pass off to Rashudo. He looks down towards McLeod. He's been very, very quiet. 60 out. He spears a worm-burning pass in towards Biglands around the body. He snaps, but he's pulled it a little too far.
Well,
Corn's getting ready to come on.
I think Mark Harwood might have a rest. Ben Hart did a tremendous job there. The kick was good. Ben Hart able to spoil Mark Harwood.
Paxman's kick, good. Finding Franco.
And I think one of the problems that the Crows have got with their zone defence is that they've got 2 ruckmen in it. In fact, 3 ruckmen in it.
Lyle claimed, not before he gets it to Burgoyne, off to Dickey. Tucked on the boundary line. Swings it back in towards half forward. Big pack of players. Robin was at the back to effect the spoil. Smart arrogantly shrugs his way clear. And he has a bounce. Nigel's away. Up over the centre. Towards half forward. There's been a whistle. It's going to come down, and the power, so desperately in need of goals, may get the chance here. Welsh has it. 50 metres out.
Can't afford to do that. Just a loose, undisciplined penalty.
The Crows, I should have said, so desperately in need of a goal. Here's Byrne. Oh, dear, dear, dear. As you would say. Oh, my hat.
Why call for it there? Why kick it there? It's no good there.
Well, you give it to Darren Jarman every time, though, Curls. That's the young Byrne first-year player. Darren Jarman calls for it. You know if you get it to him, he's going to do some damage.
Wren trying to flick it over the back. The Roo was off, but he's got to come back.
Brian, that'll be a sign of Darren Jarman's frustration that he has to lead to where he went there.
Well, you lead to the space, and the space is always wide, and that's never, ever the place to go.
Not 3 rows back in the stand.
Darren Jarman coming off for that. Goodness me.
Here's Franco towards Paxman. Oh, Biglands used him as a step ladder, and it was a fair size too. He does call play on. So Tyson Edwards does. To the outer side, the Crows have got the numbers here. Maybe they can set something up. Goals have all but dried up as McLeod takes the mark inside 50.
It's almost the last throw of the dice here as Darren Jarman speaks to the coach. Andrew McLeod into the middle of the ground. They've got to throw their side around. They're only a couple of goals or perhaps 10 minutes away, Cornsey, from this match being over.
And this man can turn a game. It's gone short. Kane Johnson dropped into the hole. It's a little bit closer, but the umpire's waving him around now.
There is no question, Graham, that the Power Boys are a far more committed side, and they're committed to their responsibilities. They're picking up tight, and they're really applying pressure.
Johnson looks good. Gets the much-needed goal for the Crows. Plays 49.
Inside 50, 7 times each this quarter, Sandy.
Important out of the middle. Rashudo gives it to Edwards. They're not out of it. They just want a couple of very quick ones. Rashudo wobbles a punt. That was a poor kick, but the bounce may help the Crows. Johnson's got Wilson. Absolutely no opportunity to get rid of that ball, but it is locked up, and there'll be a bounce on half forward.
It's a great tackle, Kane Johnson, and he has been so important for Adelaide. If they're going to get back into it, it's going to be because of him. Watch this, the ball bounces back. Michael Wilson has to stop and go and get it. Kane Johnson did not flinch. He wrapped him up beautifully.
In the Crows' attacking zone. Wren got a hand to it. Francis had it and then lost it. Welsh is fiercely tackled by Fabian.
Curls, I'm not sure if they've got the manpower to orchestrate it, but I think the Crows have just got to orchestrate somehow extra run through the middle, and Matthew Rodram onto the ball away from centre-half back is one option that worked for them last week.
Well, Smart.
Here we go, boys. I'm sorry,
Smart
but
to do that
McLeod's
role.
going into
No,
an open
missed it.
goal. Sorry, Curl, but there was a bit of a build-up there.
No, you're right, Jared. They've just got to generate some more power running through the midfield, and also maybe take a chance with Robin and put Smart at centre-half back.
Gee, you've also got to kick goals like that opportunity. No pressure and cruising that he misses. Lyle.
So again, they've made it so easily to the 70-metre mark.
And defending well. An interesting kick by Wilson is okay to Mead, who's almost down to centre wing.
Barnaby French by himself in the centre.
That's where he heads. French to the outer side. Port looking to set something up here as their thrust forward continues. Daniels towards Burgoyne, he takes it on the chest. Long. And he listens to Graham Corns, and he does go long. Where are the big leapers? No one flies. Edwards runs into a brick wall. It's locked up there. Umpire giving him plenty of time. It is still alive, but only for a moment, because Josh Franco is getting tackled.
Without labouring the point, Graham, the Crows have got 3 ruckmen. They've had 7 possessions between them. And Port Power, with Primus and Barnaby French, have got collectively 21 possessions.
And a couple of goals from Matty Primus.
Robin went early. McLeod goes towards the line. Dickey gives chase. Donald's away, and Stengline's on his hammer. The boundary wins.
Donald's first game this year. He's a really exciting player when he's on song and with form and confidence. He's been in a couple of nice positions here and done a couple of nice things. You can see how tightly Tyson Stengline there on the right-hand side is manning him up. He's not giving him any space. He's not giving him any chance to run and jump at the ball.
An important few minutes now for the Power to try and steady Adelaide, desperate for another couple of goals. Still on the outer side. In Port's attacking zone, going with the aid of a slight breeze. Robrin and Primus. One by the ladder, pushed out the back door. Smart tries to get away from Bode, and he does. Nigel's away again. Montgomery gives chase, but he's eluded. And he does it well. Paxman a flyer. Big flyer too. No mark taken.
Good hands.
Crows a chance through Welch. Welch can wobble it in towards goal.
No, but he's been a good player for Adelaide this year. In fact, he's kicked 17 goals already, but he's in love with bending the ball around his body. Now, what he needed here was a straight-out drop punt. He's tried to bend it, and it's no control over the bounce at all.
In the meantime, Fabian Francis is away to the outer side to Donald Dickey. The quick hand pass comes to Stevens. Suddenly they're deep into attack again. Port as Hart defends towards the line. Franco and Corns set to combine here, and they do. Corns flicks it in towards full forward. Treadray could have been held. The umpire says play on. James applies a tackle, but it's too late. They'll get out of it, the Crows. They've got Rashudo on the outer wing, and he's away.
Well, they're doing particularly well at the moment, the Crows' defence, but they've just got to orchestrate something better up forward. They can't get near scoring a goal.
The big man's got to be careful here. Gone was Ben Marsh.
Yes,
French over the line.
Mark Rashudo with the option there of handballing to the ruckman. It's dangerous to do that any time.
Kingsley on for James, and Jarman is standing by to come on for the Crows. Mead caught at the back. Kane Johnson down in front will run out of room.
This is a real arm wrestle at the moment.
Yes, it's by no means over, is it? But you just think that if Port get a couple more in the next 4.5 minutes, it will be.
Strange enough, Adelaide are going so wide and indirect with their forward movement.
Wren, as good as a kick, down towards full forward. Here's a chance for Vardy. Peter Vardy has kicked the goal they so desperately need.
Aye, we're off for a wee break with the rain.
Fellas, the breeze is strengthening.
The breeze is strengthening, girls. Okay. A couple of minutes remaining in the quarter, and they're vital now. Byrne stood his ground. The ball swings wide to centre wing. It spills away.
Magnificent Mark Bickley.
Second effort.
Just watch that.
Went twice. Burgoyne eventually got him.
Girls have seen the flags come up. He's back on the Crows bandwagon. He'd given them away 15 minutes ago.
I'm seeking any chance at all.
Jarman's back on. And Vardy kicks the goal and leaves the arena. On centre wing, Stevens a good tackle on McLeod. McLeod goes again. Another good tackle. Edwards taken out of it. Kingsley just on the ground will pick up a possession. Towards Treadray. Had to beat a couple. It was a big ask. Bickley again. Geez, led by example as Bickley today. Smart gives it across to Edwards. The Crows have lifted. Johnson, the target on centre wing, takes a fine mark. Is Port Adelaide tiring? That's the big question. As Johnson goes in towards Jarman. He's back and he kicks them inside 50. And Wren takes the mark. Sean Wren, 50 out.
Well, there's no doubt Adelaide have lifted. Mark Bickley has been sensational. Andrew McLeod has been great.
Wren from 48 metres. Poor kick going across the face of goal, and Paxman takes the mark.
Maybe an indication of the breeze there. He's kicking directly into it. No penetration in his kick and swung quite noticeably to the left.
Kicks to the half-back line.
Ben Marsh.
There's a fine grab taken by Marsh. Who's about now to have his first kick of the day. He's a long way out. He's 60 metres out. It's a centering kick. Mead is held by one hand, so he decides I'll just take the mark with the other.
Well, it was a tremendous kick. That's where you put it if you're too far out. But Darren Mead holding Sean Wren out, raked it in with his left hand. Don't go back and take your tick. They've got to regenerate that run that gave them the lead. They cannot go back into their shells.
Dickey to Francis. To Daniels. It's a high ball up over the centre. Smart is in front. Doesn't get a look in here. Rashudo, the lightning hand pass is okay to Robrin. Here he is again. Ben Marsh. Couple of timely possessions. Kicks towards the forward line. Mead does well. He wants the boundary line. And he did it in fairly subtle fashion, I thought, to force a throw in.
He did very well there. He did very well firstly to get to Scott Welsh. And secondly to carry the ball across the line.
Bode off for James and Binky off for Vardy. And a throw in. Welsh came charging over the top. Paxman is ripped off it. Clever little tap on. Oh, it's not out of the danger zone yet as far as Port are concerned, but there's a high tackle. And it'll go the way of Stevens. He's got Primus screaming for it, and he's got Montgomery. He chooses the latter. Wren does very, very well, then gets pinged, but he had to beat a couple. Edwards has his feet taken out from underneath him. This is the defining moment, I think, in this game. McLeod taken to the line by James.
Sean Wren's effort to get to Brett Montgomery then was magnificent. The game has lifted, Sand. It's probably even changed.
Yep, 1.5 minutes in this quarter. A whistle. A free kick to Adelaide, and Sean Wren, I think, may have just been saying, well, it's about time. 1.5 minutes remaining. Gee, a goal here, and wouldn't it set it up in the last quarter? The breeze is lifted. Adelaide would be coming home with the breeze. Goodwin's ridden into the ground, and he's got the free kick, but he's too far out to score. 70 metres.
It's a beautiful kick, though. He'll spot whoever
Well, he'll want
leads.
that left foot at his absolute best. He's going to go short to Edwards. Now, Edwards can run on here. He's 53 metres out. Goes into the square. Mead is at the back and takes a timely mark. The Port defence is standing firm. Burgoyne is away on the outer side. A couple of bouncers, almost out of the danger zone. He just chips over the top of Robrin, and it's taken by Treadray.
Yes, but Adelaide's defence has run so strongly. They've run Port Adelaide's forward line right out of position at the moment, with nobody inside 50.
Kingsley, with less than 30 seconds remaining. Kicks to half forward. There was a shove. It went unnoticed by the umpire. So Biggins plays on Rashudo. Rashudo gets the call from Byrne, and he marks on half-back. He looks towards centre wing. I don't think there'll be any further score in this quarter. There will not be. So the big question is, can the Adelaide Crows continue to come back going with a little bit of breeze in the last quarter. Graham, what do you think?
They found something, Sandy. They found some confidence. Port Adelaide all of a sudden chasing Guernseys instead of creating the play. And who knows what effect this really hard week is going to have on them. It's going to be a really exciting last quarter.
25 points is the margin here at Football Park. Showdown 7 continues after this break.
A lot of work going on the legs in that huddle. You're not going to run out of them?
No, we've got Michael Stevens left, and he'll come on some stage through the last quarter. And, you know, we're really looking forward to this last quarter. They come back into strong, but we're confident we can get over it.
I was going to say, early in that quarter, you seemed to have the game, but just couldn't get the goal.
No, it was always going to be a struggle to the end. It looks like it's going to be no exception this game.
There's a lot of feeling in that huddle over there with arms around each other.
Oh, there is. We've worked hard all week, and we certainly come here to win this, and we're giving it our best shot right now.
Well, the attack on the ball is outstanding this week.
Well, it has been. It's been fantastic. No worries there, Abby.
All right. Hope you can do it.
So Bruce Abernathy speaking with Jeff Morris from Port Adelaide, and himself a very competent former player.
And Mark Williams, you'd have to say, Graham, just 1 week away from perhaps one of the hardest earned victories he's had as a coach.
Well, it's amazing that victories come when you least expect them and probably when you most need them. Adelaide rejigging their forward line. Scott Welsh is the forward pocket. Nathan Bassett, more known as a defender, has gone to the forward pocket, can kick goals. And at the other end of the ground, Matthew Bishop has spent the last couple of quarters on the bench, having coming off with blood draw. He's going to full forward. And Matthew Primus, who looked like he's given them something up there, has started on the bench, or actually now, as we see, going down in the change room. So there must be some concern with Matty Primus.
Biglands has gone on to Matt Bishop. Maybe a post problem there.
Final quarter in Showdown 7. Port leading by 25 points. Barnaby French, and it's Primus who is in trouble. But here comes the power through Peter Burgoyne. Just to the left. So Primus down in the rooms. Bruce Abernathy, I'm sure, will find out what has happened there. Ab, have you got any news on Primus?
Yes, he actually hasn't gone to the rooms. He's gone in the race on the exercise bike, so he's keeping his legs warm. But he's they told me there's nothing wrong with him.
So they're just saving him?
Hopefully.
By the looks of it. The Sting line gives it to Rashudo, tries to draw the player and does over the top to Robrin. They get the first goal here, the Crows, and they'll be firing up, don't worry. Bassett takes the mark.
A clean movement from the kickoff, long kickoff. The ball carried the pack. It's a magnificent kick from Matthew Robrin. It was a tremendous lead from Nathan Bassett. And whilst he's an ungainly looking footballer, his hand skills are particularly clean.
So from one end of the ground to the other, he's got a chance to start the Crow machine rolling. 25 points is the margin. He's normally a defender. He kicks towards goal, and he kicks it like a full forward, and he's pumping him up.
Before computer games was spit.
41,173 fans here at Football Park for Showdown 7, seeing Bassett get his first goal. Out of the middle, it's Franco for the power. Up towards the 50. Can they answer? Donald Dickey.
He's marked it.
Can't take the mark.
That's a courageous effort.
It looked as though he should have been given it just for courage as he backed into that pack. He has a polite look at umpire Stuart Wen.
He's not complaining, Gerald. I think it actually hit the ground between his knees. Watch it closely again.
Ball finished between his legs.
No, you see it hit the ground there.
Great attempt. However, Robrin ripped to the ground. Now he had prior opportunity, and he's been pinged.
He's saying, I didn't. He's saying, what more can I do? They've claimed him, dragged him around. And he's not arguing. He cannot afford to argue and give away the 15-metre penalty. There's just enough doubt in the distance now.
See, Graham, just while we're on that, Robrin is going to take a lot of chances running forward this quarter. So young Treadway will have to be very aware of that.
Barnaby French has kicked 2 goals, 1 prior to this game today. He hasn't kicked a goal as yet for the day, but this is a very, very important kick. Can he answer? He kicks for the power. He starts it left, but he snuck it home.
Enjoy the feeling that...
3.
Sorry, Graham. I thought you were saying what I was saying about him was a nonsense. He's been tremendous today.
Back in the middle. Now what can the Crows do? Oh, Goodwin takes on a couple after the Wren hand pass, and they're going to turn it over. The power have the answers at the moment. Burgoyne, Dickey and Co are doing the job, and here they are combining on half-third. Burgoyne gives it to Dickey. Donald, you almost lost it. You're going to have to be quick. And he is. floating it in towards full forward. It's smashed defensively over the line by Robin from behind.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you about Barnaby French, but just going back to that issue, it's the same at boundary throw-ins. If a ruckman takes the ball out of the pack, under the rule, he should be given prior opportunity. I'm not saying you agree with that.
Oh, Nigel.
Oh, don't say oh, Nigel. Say well done, Stevens and James. Nigel Smart has got a good side step. He comes back around, but there was just the hand in there that caused the ball to spill. I didn't see whether it was James or Stevens, but both players closed him down. It was young James, who's been very good. Thanks, Andy.
In front of the scoreboard here at Football Park, 90 plays 63. Port in command. Answering any challenge, Franco takes on a wall of Crows. Can't get through. McLeod locks it up at the bottom. And we've got another bounce. 3-all coming into this showdown.
Matthew Primus, Matty Bowe, Brett Montgomery and Mark Harwood.
French uses the body. Hart stacks up on Corns. And another bounce. 14 points at quarter time. 29 points at half time. 25 points at three-quarter time. Always in favour of Port Adelaide. The Bickley hand pass to McLeod. Now he can run to the middle here. He accelerates away with another bounce. He continues to go. McLeod, bang, straight into Fulton, but it ricochets away to Vardy. Vardy kicks from 50 metres. This is what they need.
The Mitsubishi Triton has a
21 points. We've got a game now. The next one, all important. Flicked out wide towards Rashudo, who's been busy around the body. He goes. It's a tumbling punt wide towards centre wing. The Power have the numbers, but they need a kind bounce. Stevens, a little lucky there against Byrne. And eventually it's held up for a bounce on centre wing. 21 points the margin. Johnson circling the pack. Marsh to do the ruck work up against his opposing 31 in French, and it's the latter who wins it. Slap to the line for another throw-in by Adam Kingsley. There's Stevens and Byrne.
Abernathy 1, Curly 0.
Still on centre wing. Lyle at the back, almost taken high. And then ripped to the ground. He held it for a long time. French gives it to Rashudo, off to Bickley. The Crows are away. Inside 50, they need a mark. Big pack of players. Oh, McLeod was skirting. He's still there, McLeod. 25 out. He bends it back, but not enough. And one behind goes on the board.
But he's given them some run through the middle, which has been sadly lacking all afternoon. But maybe it'll be too little too late. But Graham, Crows get the next goal. The place is going to erupt, and they'll believe perhaps the first time today that they can win it.
Too little too late. There's plenty of time left, and Adelaide looking like they realised for the first time today they can win.
Paxman wanted Mead, but he's beaten by Wren.
He can actually kick it from here.
Sean Wren is 70 metres out, Graham. Welsh in the pocket, and it's fisted over the line by Daniels.
Three's behind his back, Sandy.
Now this is always going to be the telling quarter because of the Port's hard work this week. Can they keep it going?
That's the big question, Curls, isn't it?
Certainly is.
It's a huge ask, but they've got the advantage at the moment with the lead on the board. It's a free kick to Fabian Francis. Didn't have the ball. Usually a wonderful deliverer. Goes to Michael Wilson, and a little left footer on the outer side. Flicks it towards centre. Oh, what a five by Robin. Big mark on the outer wing. The Crows now sensing the urgency. Go down towards Welsh, who's still a long way out. 80 metres from home.
Just might be time for Mark Williams. He's thinking about it. Is he game enough to do it, to actually flood his back lines? It's too early, but...
Ran at the back, couldn't take the mark. Oh, here's a snap by Vardy. He's done it again, Peter Vardy. Only 2 metres, but all of a sudden the hole is looking considerably smaller. That's from Port Adelaide's viewpoint. They're now leading by 14 points. Can the Crows continue the surge? Rashudo, like a Mack truck out of the centre, tumbles a punt. They're with the breeze, up towards full forward. Power defence, absolutely desperate. Paxman wants the boundary line. Now he's got to go again and apply the pressure. Kept in play by Vardy. Vardy's hand pass puts his teammate under the pump. There'll be a bounce. Or will there? It's eventually taken over the line for a throw-in. Almost into the left forward pocket. The Crows in attack and chasing.
Well, brilliant work there by Ben Marsh and Mark Rashudo. They conferred at length before the bounce, and it was just an outside tap. And Rashudo bombed it into the forward line.
Wren and French. Wren takes it away and it's slapped to the boundary line. An effective spoil by Daniels.
Mark Williams has done what we anticipated. He's flooded his back line. Warren Treadray is down there. Corns has gone down there. There's two inside 50. What it's done, however, is leave Matthew Robin free across the centre, and that is very dangerous with the wind at his back.
And there's a ton of time left. McLeod thought about plucking it out of the air. Here's Scotty Welch. Going to be close.
The Crows crowd behind, willing it. They rose. There was red, yellow and blue flags everywhere, but no reaction from Scott Welsh.
No. Fabian Francis again.
And boys, that wind is strengthening greater.
Oh, and Curls, you're coming back. Francis to the outer side. Good-looking kick. He's coming with that breeze. There's plenty of pushing and shoving. There is Robin, as we've said, on his own. Around he goes. Paxman has his eyes on it, and he takes it on the chest.
Can you afford to waste time at this stage of a game, Gerald?
Oh, I think it'll be far too early for that.
Stevens' kick wobbles towards Jarman. Jarman's hand pass a little iffy to Rashudo. What a great tackle, but what a great second effort by Rashudo. Off to Tyson Edwards. The hand pass finishes with Bickley. It came from Stengline. Up towards McLeod, who marks outside 50. The danger signs are up for Port now. McLeod, it's a high ball. Where are the Flyers? Welch is one of them. Paxman got a hand. Polton defends to the line. And it's one behind.
I think more importantly, Port Adelaide has got to start thinking attack rather than just saving this match. They've been magnificent all afternoon. And they've got to get back that attack on the footy and the run in numbers, and don't get restricted by perhaps the moment.
Well, they've got to stop the momentum of the Crows somehow and then get back on the front foot. Very tricky at how to do that.
Push out.
Just over 12 minutes remaining. Hart's hand pass to Byrne. Burns' hand pass intercepted by Wilson. He slapped it back towards Hart. And he can't get clear. Forced the hand pass. It goes over the line to Simon Goodwin.
I think you're right, Jared. The Power boys have sort of stopped their attacking running game to go defensive. That's how you'll lose games.
Well, that was their greatest advantage, keeping the ball on the ground and just running it through in numbers, running to support each other. And at the moment, all the run is with the Crows.
That's right.
Goodwin taken high, but he still gets the kick. Rashudo can kick a goal. 35 metres out. He goes for goal and he gets it. And the Crows are still alive.
Your kitchen got the blues?
Straight kick in it.
Watch for Rashudo. Watch for Rashudo again.
French tries to win it out of the middle, but it's McLeod. Couldn't get clear. And eventually does it the second attempt after Francis couldn't lock it up. Kicks down towards the forward line. Bassett wants it to sit at the back. Daniels is right there with him. Bassett keeps it in play. Kicks in towards goal. And it is shoved over the line.
Now that could be a crucial behind. Nathan Bassett has given the Crows something in that forward pocket.
Lyle is the target on the kick-in. A tired Lyle. Couldn't take the mark, and he's claimed. Johnson claimed. Oh, they're tired. Vardy goes for home. This could bring the house down. But it's away to the right, and it's another behind.
How important is momentum in football? One of those things you just cannot define, but it swings at various certain stages of a game, and it's swung into Adelaide's favour here, and they can do no wrong.
Paxman again. French in front. Couldn't take the mark, but he's got good support. That's a delightful pickup from Stevens. He chips towards centre wing. Montgomery copped a shove in the back. Bickley gets away from Dickey. His hand pass, unbelievable. Finishes with Dickey. This could prove terribly terribly costly. Still on the right half forward with Roger James. James bends it back in towards full forward. They need a mark or someone to do the roving work. It's not there. It's locked up and we've got a bounce. But Port have it deep in their attacking zone.
Yeah, but what about Matthew Primus? Time for some leadership out on the ground in a moment of crisis.
Abbas,
where do you agree?
Under the pump. Kingsley too is exhausted. He's left the ground. Bode is back on. A big moment now for Port if they can keep it in that zone and lock it up. French tries to surge it forward. Bode's in all sorts of balls. There's a free kick. It was a throw. It was a throw.
He's called the pass off.
Gee, what a big call. Marsh to the outer side.
All of a sudden the Crows are getting the run from behind the ball and
Rashudo and Robren, it's dangerous again. He looks in towards half forward. Wren can't juggle it. Smashed out of his hands. Back to Rashudo. He gives it straight to McLeod. He cruises through the middle. Goes up towards half forward. Now the race is on. Vardy, what a tackle by Poulton. And a clever little flick to the line by Jared Poulton ensures another throw-in. This is desperate stuff.
Interesting option there from Andrew McLeod to go to the wide.
Yeah, it's hit the goals.
Still a ton of time left, 9.5 minutes. From the throw-in, Francis. Oh, he ducked into that, but he was taken high, said the umpire, and Jarrett's going to take it. Still lucky, Graham?
Well, he's ducked into it, as you called it. He's taken him high.
Also got to ask Graham, you know, where's Franco and Burgoyne gone in these last 5 or 6 minutes? They've dropped out of the game.
Yeah, and Primus is standing by to come back out on the ground. Play on has been called. Corns could be a flyer here. Oh, he wasn't. Biglan's got up very high and then locked a tackle on Lyle. The runner's been told exactly where to go by the umpires. And that is off the ground, and they are for the moment as we've got a bounce. Port Adelaide holding a slender lead after at one stage, leading by 29 points. This is Kane Johnson tumbling a punt in towards full forward. Smashed towards the line, and Stevens sees it over. Primus is back on for Port Adelaide, and Corns is off. 4 points the margin, favouring Port. They've kicked 1 goal, 2 in this term. Adelaide has kicked over 4 goals. Lyle has tried his heart out. Dickey's kick is high. Back towards the half-back line. Bickley slews off the side of the boot. And a little bit of respite.
Yes, whilst they've got numbers in defence, they still have to be calm and collected with their disposal. Use the running play, use the option. Adelaide just controlling the ball too well at the moment.
Fabian Francis, that ball sitting in the breeze.
Right, Mark, he has lifted. He's been one of the reasons why the Crows have got back into this match.
He does well to Tyson Edwards, who goes to Nigel. Nigel can kick it from here. 65 metres out. In towards full forward. There has been a whistle. There has been no whistle. Welsh wants a whistle. Instead, he's taken over the line. Throw it in, says the umpire.
Both players anticipating it had gone over the boundary line, over the behind line, and Scott Welsh reacted quickly, but Fabian Francis, whose defensive effort has been tremendous, wrapped him up, carried him across the line.
Wren flicks it out the back. Look out for the Roo. Partly smothered. Again, Rashudo. Take 2. What can he do? It looks good. Crows are in the front.
Earthquakes to hurricanes, nature.
I believe.
And they're just taking their time to ascertain who his best replacement is, because as we have a look at it, they've got up in the forward line Mark Harwood against Biglan's.
Yes, that's...
They're going to get it down there first of all, I guess.
Exactly right.
Ran, clever tap wide. He wanted Jarman. Wilson is right there, however. He wants the boundary line. Jarman asked the question. There will be a throw-in.
It's just amazing how momentum, Graham, as you said before, just swings. Like Port had it all going for them, and now they've gone into a defensive type style of game.
2 points, the margin. It's now in favour of the Crows after Port led by 29. Rashudo again. Sorry, Cornsey, but it was. Bishop just onto the ground. Bishop again.
All defensively minded, orientated stuff now from the Port power.
You're talking about momentum. It was about halfway through the third quarter when Port Adelaide stopped.
Yeah, but they got the first goal in this term, Abba, and I would have thought then that that would have been the signal for everybody to start running again.
I don't know if there's too much left in the tank, though.
Bishop just back on. A high ball. Bode is forced to fly, and what an exciting fly it was. He's got it on centre wing. It looks up towards left half forward. Hart could have been held. Smart tries to shrug the Franco tackle. Not before he gives it to Edwards. He looks up towards centre half forward. Primus decides to leave it for Bishop. Almost sneaks away. The hand pass is okay. Back it comes to Stevens. Then another one off to Dickey. Up towards half forward. Port need an answer. They need someone to take a mark or kick a goal. That's a free kick going the way of Adelaide. It'll be taken by Hart.
And they've got to get the next goal to power. They can't afford for Adelaide to get to 8 points out. That's an incredible trick.
No, Treadway has dropped it. They're tired. They are dog-tired now. But it's Robin who gives the hand pass away to Byrne. It's his birthday today. He's 22 years of age. And he won't be celebrating with that kick.
Too many mistakes in this last quarter. Both teams tired. But if you're going to make a mistake, you don't make it short. You make it long. And James Byrne trying to spot his teammate then needed just to kick long to the goal square.
Primus, well, it was almost as if it picked out an opposing player there in Marsh, but it's almost down to Port's half-forward line. Bode, caught, shrugs the tackle before giving the hand pass. James has got to be quick. He is. They need a mark. And they got it!
Too quick for big ones down there.
Harwood has an open goal. He's 40 metres out. He's directly in front. Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of a big kick.
And his team trails by 2 behinds. Matthew Bode on and off the bench today. We saw the mark out there on the wing, desperate. We saw a desperate handball. Just released Roger James.
Harwood for his second. He kicked one in the first quarter. Oh, he's away to the right. He's away to the right.
Should never really have got down there, Curls, with the 3 big men of the Crows spilling that mark just in front of you.
Yes, I thought, well, Treadway dropped one as well just before. And, of course, Marsh dropped the one just here. So it's a bit of a chapter of mistakes counting at the moment.
Mark Rashudo saying, Ben, go long.
Hart goes to the outer side.
That's a good mark.
Big one.
He gives it off to Johnson. Johnson steadies. Looks up towards centre wing.
Push out.
Jarman gives chase. It's a push out.
And it's Rashudo again. And, well, he's played some huge games for the Crows, but this has been a lone hand for many quarters.
Robin was off. And call to go now. Down towards half forward. Goodwin will give it back to Robin. Onto the left foot. Tumbles a punt to half forward. Paxman comes over the top, but he smashes it straight to McLeod. Intercepted from Wren. The Port defence are absolutely desperate. A tired Stevens comes away to the outer side. No one at home, and guess who it is?
He's got a magnet.
Rashudo.
He just has a magnet.
How many possessions is that now, Graham?
Possession number 41. It's his 25th kick, 16th handle.
Not his best, but I think Andrew McLeod was stunned back there, Sandy, when he copped one in the mush. No free kick paid.
Treadray from James. Time remaining 4 minutes. Still plenty of time. Mead is on the defensive side of centre. They've got to go though. They're dog-tired. Up towards half forward. Caught behind his Burgoyne.
Well,
Harwood comes out. Harwood is 50, 51 metres. Round the body he goes. The juggling mark is not taken. Edwards towards the line. Sneaks away from Bode. He kicks it in play and goes to Hart.
Well, that was a brilliant play by Tyson Edwards. On the back of a Hart attempted mark running with the flight of the ball.
Well, that was courageous and inspirational, even though he didn't grab it. You can see what sort of stakes there are out there.
This is where Robin's hurting him, and Treadway's not picking him up.
He's had a fair quarter, Robin. Chipping now to Bickley. The skipper's on centre wing. He heads towards the 50. Nigel Smart elects not to fly. Mead pokes it down to McLeod. Can he seal it? It's a high ball. In towards full forward. Big pack of players. Waiting down was Vardy, but he couldn't take it clean. Stevens almost gone. It was an excellent tackle.
The umpire would be a very brave man to have played that one, Graham.
It was a tremendous tackle, though.
And whilst all the momentum is still with the Crows, it takes just one breaking of a line by a Port player to to kick a goal, and all of a sudden they're back in charge of this match.
Haven't had a draw in a showdown as yet. Primus has lost it. Welsh has tumbled it in towards the pocket. Fabian Francis has been patched up, and he's back out on the ground with Montgomery coming off. A chance for the Crows here to seal it if they can kick a goal. McLeod, always dangerous, but he's beautiful talent. Somehow he escapes. And he has just about done it.
Well, he hasn't just about.
He's a genius.
He has done it. And it hasn't been his best year so far. But when games are in the balance, class will win every time. Watch his ball handling. Watch the strength of his hips. Just shrugs off Nick Stevens.
That is a class act, isn't it?
Well, one of the most impressive moves, I think, of the day was when Andrew McLeod went under the ball and into the forward line. It was then that the Crows started to have somebody winning some footy forward to the centre.
Well, it's not over yet. There's 2.5 minutes remaining.
And the wind is dropping.
The drama builds, Curls. How much more can we get? Nice to see you back. Bishop overruns it. Leaves it for his teammate, and Dickey goes round the body. Lyle gives chase. Bode is there. Smart as well. Lyle keeps going. He continues to go, but he's over the line. The urgency now has got to come from the power.
A good chase by Nigel Smart, and Matthew Bode knew he had to get there to Shepherd. Couldn't get that small frame in front of Nigel Smart.
Edwards.
Tremendous. Tyson Edwards.
A high ball. Bishop.
Great mark.
Did well.
Well, it's been a day for heroics, and Tyson Edwards has done some tremendous things. That kick will bring rain, Sandy.
Which so many need. But it's a good mark, and it's been taken by James. James is 50 out. Now they need another mark. Harwood's on the lead. Almost got the mark. Could have been taken high. Play on and they do. Port with a last gasp effort in towards Bode. The little man at the back can't take the mark. Slapped towards the line by Hart. And we've got another throw in.
Well, fellas, they don't get much better than this, do they?
No. We've been due for one like this here, and it's an absolute ripper. In the right forward pocket. 1.5 minutes remaining. It's not over this game yet, don't worry. Goodwin at the back, taken to ground by Bode. And coming in for a bounce is umpire Nash.
Mark Prosciutto this quarter, 14 possessions. Andrew McLeod 8. And it suggests they'd be the two most important players on the ground in this last quarter.
Yeah. Not much argument there, Graham. 1:15 left. Bode.
Okay, I'll see how I go.
You see how you go, Curls.
He's going all right at the moment, too.
Yeah.
He knows that Cornsy's shouting him a dinner for two at, where was it, Cornsy? Sammy's.
Sammy's, I think it was, down on the bay.
All these bets I know nothing about.
Oh, here's a go with Lyle. First one way, then the other. Off to Franco. Take it out of his hand. Too slow, too tired. James a chance. Roger trying to bend it back. Goes out of bounds on the full.
Mark Bickley's desperation here when Josh Franco's lining up the goal. The player, look at that. Even stopped in mid-air because Franco had balked him and still managed to get some contact on the ball.
Dickey tries to spoil, but it's his teammate in Barnaby French who takes the mark. Off he goes to Bode. A goal and a behind to tie it up in towards full forward. Fabian Francis couldn't take it. Edwards' deft little giveaway. Bickley does beautifully with Byrne. Back towards the centre wing. Last roll of the dice. French goes to ground, but it's further down. There's a player down.
After disposal.
It'll come back.
Infringement against Mark Bickley, who's not going to die wondering whether he can save this game.
Well, I don't think he has to worry now. With less than half a minute remaining. The kick by Marsh goes up towards left half forward. Almost a mark to Paxman. Couldn't juggle it. Now we've got to throw in. And what a grand game it has been today.
You just can't imagine, Cornsy, the feelings that would be going through Mark Williams' mind at the moment.
He's done just about everything he had to get his players up, but they were always in danger of running out of legs.
Mead to Wilson. Wilson towards half forward. Bickley's out the back, but so too is Edwards. And look at McLeod. He just cruises across that half-back line. And the Crows have come from nowhere to win a sensational game.
Well, that is football at its very, very best. When you start to think the game is at its best days, you get games of football like this. A magnificent performance by Adelaide. A magnificent single performance by Mark Prosciutto to keep them in the game and then drag them back into it. Andrew McLeod was sensational. Mark Bickley in the dying, desperate stages did important things. And Port Adelaide, well, I guess they sense their season has gone. They laid it on the line. They made all the running early. But was there enough left in the tank at the end of the game?
I don't think there was much doubt prior to this game that whoever did win today would keep finals hopes alive. The loser just about gone. Here he is. He's had about 50 possessions, Curls. It's been an outstanding performance. Neil Curley with Mark Prosciutto, Curls.
Yeah, it certainly has. Well, Mark, they showed you a clean pair of heels early, but you gradually pulled them back.
Yeah, they were down last week, and we knew they'd bounce back. They're a tough, hard team, but they did get on top of us early, but we had a lot to play for today. We knew our season was on the line, and good that we got there in the end.
And, of course, it's hard to say well done, but another good one from you. You must be very happy with that performance.
Yeah, it was a good day today, but just glad we won, and we're slowly starting to get back on track after a slow start, and hopefully we can continue on against St Kilda next week.
Matty Robber and McLeod both lifted in the last half.
Yeah, we're getting good players. Are starting to play a bit better now. We're a bit low early, but it's good to see them starting to play well now, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Big win, well done.
Thanks, girls.
Yes, what a big win it was for Mark Prosciutto and his men. Robrin, sensational. Tyson Edwards, very, very good. And finally, an epic victory. Port managing just 1 goal, 3 in the final term. The eventual margin was 7 points in favour of the Adelaide Crows.
Yes, quite incredible, Sandy, when you consider that Port kicked the first goal in that last quarter. They didn't didn't trouble the scorer, and have a look at that. That is just raw aggression and raw, I guess, release there from Gary Ayres. Graham,
they're a better team than to be 1-6, and when the game was in the balance, it was the senior players, Prosciutto, Bickley, McLeod, Robrin, Nigel Smart having been quite fairly early. Sean Wren, not his game of last week, but their key players dragged them back in and got them over the line.
So the final score here, Adelaide 14-14, defeating Port in a classic 13-13.
Wednesday, singing superstar Tom Jones in a premiere night of entertainment.
You don't have to be abused.
Performing his greatest.
7 points, coming out of the clouds and winning 14-14 at 98. Port Adelaide 13-13-91. An absolute ripping last quarter. And Mark Prosciutto, I don't want to preempt anything, was just absolutely magnificent. How is your voting?
Oh, well, he was clearly the best on ground, Sandy, and he also was the inaugural West End medalist, an award given for the best on ground in all showdowns from now on in. I thought McLeod, well, he was, along with Prosciutto, I think the match-winning couple. And Nick Stevens was a 3.5 quarter player for Port Adelaide. And it just still is amazing that Port Adelaide have lost this match.
Always nip and tuck in the old showdown. After 7 now, it stands at 4-3 in favour of the Crows as we take a break.
Earthquakes to hurricanes.
Undefeated side. Melbourne also working its way into a very, very good position. Fascinating round. Let's have a look, Jared, at the matches still to be played in the round. Of course, a big day on Anzac Day, but of course, another one too on Easter Monday.
And then, of course, Brisbane and the Fremantle Dockers and the Blockbuster on at the MCG.
Looking ahead to round 8, of course, it all starts on Friday night with the Kangaroos and the Hawks. That'll be a big game at the MCG. And Adelaide will be hoping to do it all again against St Kilda next week. What a day it has been here at Football Park in front of over 41,000 fans, Jared. Adelaide coming from the clouds as only Adelaide can during this Easter break.
We've seen some fantastic comebacks at Easter, Sandy, but you better than that one.
You've said it all. Good night from the 7 commentary team.
first match in the 2000 AFL season.
Showdown will be a turning point for the 2000 season. After a horror start to the year, the Crows are now aiming to extend their 2-game winning run. But for the Power, it will take a minor miracle to reach the final 8. An early start for Adelaide this morning, but no one was complaining after yesterday's sensational come-from-behind victory over Port Adelaide. Coach Gary Ayres couldn't hide his delight. While it was only the club's second win for 2000, he believes it could prove to be a defining moment.
This could possibly be a situation where we have a bit more belief in ourselves, because really over the last probably, 20-odd games, we haven't played the way we would like. So this might just be the fillip that the guys need to take another step forward.
It's probably as good as any minor round game I've played in, for sure, for the club. Like I said, the season was on the line yesterday, and to come from 7 goals down in any game, let alone one that's going to shape the season, it's a big effort.
Vice-captain Mark Rasciuto was best on ground, accumulating 42 possessions.
I knew we needed to win yesterday, and it was good to play well, but our season was on the line yesterday and we did need to win.
And in terms of morale, Showdown 7 has breathed new life into the Crows season. The Power is battling to regroup following yesterday's shattering loss.
A spring in their step, the Crows still buoyant following yesterday's miracle. A win instrumented by Mark Rasciuto, who won the inaugural West End medal.
Let's go! Crows are at the front!
Personally, I knew we needed to win yesterday, and it was good to play well, but our season was on the line yesterday and we did need to win.
Coach Gary Ayres joined in the post-siren emotion, but was quick to bring the victory into perspective.
I'll keep telling the players that we've now won 2 out of 7 and we've won, 4 out of 23. So that doesn't equate to feeling satisfied one single bit.
A feeling of total devastation at Alberton. The Power last night endured having to watch the match again.
Been involved in as we go to the captain's corner.
It was probably one of the great showdowns that I've been involved in. The fact that we were so far behind halfway during the 3rd quarter and we're still able to come away with a victory, and it was such an exciting finish. It was just a special feeling and one that you won't forget for a while. In the past, we've been a team that's had a fair bit of self-belief, and to come back from that type of deficit, you really have to believe in yourself that if you keep plugging away, things will turn for you. The last quarter was hell, actually, living through it, being so close, and both teams so desperate to win. And when the siren finally goes and you win the game, just the emotion overflows. I think you saw that. Mark Rasciuto's game was one of the best individual performances I think I've been involved with. Just the fact that he was so strong when we were under the pump, in the first half and weren't playing well, and then, when the game was there to be won, it was quite, almost significant that he was the guy that kicked the goal that put us in front. Yeah, the St Kilda one does loom quite large in our sights now, and they put on a pretty spirited performance against North Melbourne, and just went down in the last couple of kicks. So we're going to have to make sure that we do everything right this week to go into the game with the right preparation so that we give ourselves every chance.
Carlton boss David Parkin is free to celebrate his 500th league game as coach following the Blues' thumping win.
Yesterday's 7-point loss to the Crows. In the pre-match build-up, both clubs had declared the Showdown a make-or-break game, having won just a solitary match each. But today, Port maintained its season isn't over. After letting victory slip through their fingers yesterday, the Power players returned to the track knowing they faced another hard week. Last Wednesday, coach Mark Williams inflicted the toughest training session of the year on his players in an attempt to make them more competitive. While Port Adelaide ran out of power in the final quarter yesterday, no one's sure whether it was the extra workload, a sense of complacency, or the fact the Crows and their supporters hit them like a tidal wave.
We had a hard week on the track. I mean, whether you can say it had anything to do with that, I don't know. I don't want to say that it was, around the legs or anything like that.
Everyone agrees the major factor in the Crows' win was Mark Rasciuto, whose drive, enthusiasm and 41 possessions earned him the Man of the Match award.
Probably as good as any minor round game I've played in, for sure, for the club. Like I said, the season was on the line yesterday, and to come from 7 goals down in any game, let alone one that's going to shape the season, it's a big effort.
Crows coach Gary Ayres didn't make his players train any harder than normal last week, but says he's been a tough taskmaster since the beginning of the season.
We didn't change at all. and perhaps the guys now have been conditioned to the work that I expect of them, and a few of the players have said that, whereas the first week it was like, geez, this is pretty bloody hard. But I think their bodies are conditioned and their minds are getting around that, and we'll continue that pattern.
On Saturday, the Crows will travel to the Docklands to play the winless Saints, while Port hosts Melbourne on Sunday.
The season, the last 2 weeks have been very good, of course. He has been actually the shining light. He's been the beacon for the team, and Andrew McLeod's form in the last 2 weeks has been sensational.
He's a genius, McLeod, isn't he? When he's on.
Yeah, and I think just playing off the half-back flank, get him a feel for the game, and then switching in, which has obviously been done before, but it was when to do it with Andrew.
Can he do it on his knees, or are they going to always hold him back?
No, I think it's a management thing, like anyone with a knee injury. I think it's just a slightly different management issue to the player.
It was incredible after the match, speaking of management. I felt for Mark Williams because I don't think anybody had done anything more than he could have done. And as we have a look at Gary Ayres and the emotional response to a victory, he was quoted on radio as saying that it was because of all the hard work they'd done during the week, and yet all the doubters were saying for Mark Williams that he'd worked them too hard during the week. But this was just great stuff. We don't see that often from a coach anymore.
No, you don't, and particularly from Gary. But I would suggest now that, winning 2 in a row, that Gary now feels part of it. It's very much his footy team. The blokes are starting to accept him. I mean, it does take time, and I think the confidence level of the team has risen because of it.
Huge relief for him yesterday, wasn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, you've got to imagine, Port versus Adelaide. Look, I'd like to think it's one of those, who knows in 10 years' time it might be like the game we're having tomorrow with Collingwood and Essendon, It
was a great atmosphere there. It was the first showdown I've been to, and it was just a magnificent finals atmosphere.
And there's only been one game that has been a big margin. All the rest have been very close. So it's a great addition to the AFL.
Where to for Mark Williams? He must have been gutted after the match.
Well, he would have been. He would have been pretty disappointed. But there wasn't much in that either way. Kick or two in footy today.
It's probably the best match they've played.
Yeah. He had to be. Look, he had to be more optimistic today. He would have to be, because that's the best form they've played probably since the night since their win.
Yes, indeed. And look, I think there's still some things to look forward to. I mean, they're going to struggle from here, though. I think finals are out for them. So perhaps the whole attitude may now change. And in fact, what he'll do is take a different tack. Not to say that they've got to win 11 out of 15. It's pretty hard dart.
Tall order, yeah.
Travelling and all that. So it's going to be almost impossible. But I would suggest it's a great look now for all the young players at Port Adelaide to say, hang on, gee, what happened here? So perhaps they can build from here. Just write the season off and start again.
Well, still a couple of big games to come to complete the round tomorrow, but the winners so far are Hawthorn. Had a big win by 31 points and looked the goods. And Michael, you appear to have written off the Bulldogs. Geelong, the Kangaroos, Melbourne, Adelaide and Carlton.
When did I write the Bulldogs
off? And as we have a look at the ladder, starting, I think it was last week in your paper, but having a look at the ladder, it's Essendon, and despite at the top, and despite Sydney having lost the last 4, they hang on to 8th position. And over the page, Brisbane with a game to go tomorrow at the top of that lot, and down the bottom are Port Adelaide and St Kilda. Well, the man wheeled out to solve the major issues in footy over the last 15 years has been Graham Samuel, a commissioner since 1984, and despite a recent AFL policy that he was not to talk on the stadium publicly, that is the Colonial Stadium, today he has reappeared